Ho Buenos vera, bonsoir, buenas noches, and good evening. And welcome along to the Endless Celts World 11 Big Debate. How are we all doing, boys?
Good,
All
mate.
good.
Really good.
Can't wait to get stuck in.
I've missed
Good
that
to be back,
intro tune.
Nice wee break we've had, but it's good to be back, I think, and it's good that we've got the full squad on for this one. Anthony, I thought you were going to be missing out, but you've pulled through, mate. You've pulled through it.
I know it was just the way it was looking, mate. I wasn't going to be able to make it on, but glad managed to sort out some timings. So, yep, on with you good guys tonight. Can't wait to get stuck into this.
Good, man. I think there's been a few sore heads trying to pick these teams, but we'll get into that shortly. But I thought we'd just start with the news that we got. I think it was Friday, if I'm right. CCV's in the door. What we all wanted. Obviously, we want Jota to come in as well. I think that will happen in due course. But I'll just come to yourself, Stephen, first, and just let me know what your thoughts are on getting the big man over the line.
Well, it's like buying a new fridge, isn't it? Get him back again. He's back in the green and white. Permanent for 4 years. That's a great signing. Evening, Danny Boy. Evening, Craig White Legends. Great to have you along already in early part of the show.
Evening, guys.
But in terms of the actual signing itself, Carter Vickers was a necessity for me, and it's a bit of a opinion. But even over Felipe Ayala, I just thought Vickers was unbelievable last season. Him and Starfelt built up a fantastic partnership together. And it was vital to build that defence and kind of keep that continuity, especially with Starfelt there. Welsh coming through, maybe another centre back coming in if we're led to believe reports. But Ross, to be honest, it was a fantastic piece of news on a Friday. Kickstart your weekend. Celtic Football Club, absolutely love it.
Aye, I mean it was Friday night we got the news, and it was full to Scaldi the next day. What more do you want? Except for maybe a bit of sunshine or something. But I mean, I didn't like to come to like 5 or 6 guys with the same question, but I'm going to on this one because I just want to get all your thoughts on it. The big man was a staple in that defence last year, and he was outstanding. Franny, what's your thoughts on getting the big man in?
It was great news because I think it was around about dinner time or something. I think it was announced it was.
It's always dinner time at my bit.
It was just like everybody. It was imperative that he came in. It was one of the main reasons that we had such a good defence last season, and one of the reasons we obviously won the league. So for £6 million potentially rising to 10, if that's what we're led to believe, I think even if he only stays 2 years, I'm not trying to. So he's just in the door essentially permanently. But I don't see how you don't make money on it. It fits the business model in the sense that you're going to make profit off the guy. He's a colossus, man. He's brilliant. I'm so glad. It just makes me a wee bit more confident going into the season that he's in the door. You're not then looking for a centre half to pair up with Starfelt. You've got a centre half partnership that you know you can trust and rely on.
Mm-hmm. And John, yourself, what age is Vickers, by the way?
23, 24, I think.
23. Aye, it's definitely got sell-on value then. Aye, John, what about yourself?
Aye, just the same as these guys. Is absolutely buzzing when that was announced, because I think for a lot of us, we obviously want Jota as well, but I think most of us would agree that if you had to pick one of the two, Carter Vickers would probably be most people's first choice. It was an absolute, it was a brick wall for us last season, absolutely immense, and delighted to have got him quite a decent contract as well. Like Franny says, I mean, you hope that it does kind of fit that model, and you hope that it does stay with us for the duration or even longer than that. But I'm just happy to get one of them out of the line and hoping Jota follows shortly.
Aye, absolutely. And I mean, I'll try and mix it up a wee bit because it is sort of watering down a wee bit now. But I mean, we've got him in the door there. But do you think that Julian still stays, or do you think he'll be sold on?
It looks like Angela's in the fancy him and he will get sold on, but I would personally keep him. I think he was an absolute colossus for us that first season he played, and he not just at the back, but he had a hand in with goals as well, and I think he's perfect for Andrew's style. He's a big ball playing centre half, so I would keep him 100%. But if he's not going to get first team football, then him personally won't want to stay, so it might be out of Celtic's hands if we don't give him the football he wants. With CCV, I don't think it's a coincidence he's the first one in the door. I reckon Ange's been at the board and said, this is my number one target, you need to get him in. And I said at the podcast at the latter end of the season, I'm not saying he's our best player, but I think there's 3 players in that first 11 that we had last year, in Hart, CCV and Calmac, that are irreplaceable. I wouldn't say they're our best players, Kyogo and all that, but like Kyogo was out the team and Giacomakis came in, and you wouldn't have known Kyogo was missing, and vice versa. I just thought they 3 were irreplaceable, so I thought it was absolutely essential, like the guys are saying, that we got him in, and I'm absolutely over the moon.
Aye, I mean, I totally agree with you. That what you've mentioned there, Hart and Calmac and Carter, they're essentially the spine of the team, bar your central striker. But we all know that we had half a season with one, half a season with the other. But I'd come to yourself, Anthony, last. I think, well, do you think that if Julian does stay, obviously, give me your thoughts on the big man coming in, but if Julian does stay, do you think he is capable, able to split the partnership, Starfelt and Carter Vickers up?
Firstly, Ross, just echo what the rest of the guys say. It was absolutely tremendous start to the weekend. Just seeing all the social media updates that it was official that that's him in the building, and it's one of the biggest bits of transfer business we wanted done, and it's been done quickly, and it's been done without the usual kind of Celtic drama that we normally get. There's normally a big saga surrounding transfers, whereas we've just got this one done and dusted really quickly. In terms of Julian, I think we kind of touched on it quite a bit just before we finished up for the break, that he's... and as I say, I don't know if the time when he did that interview, and it's maybe just been bad timing when it's been released. But obviously, the fact that he made those comments and then wasn't even in the matchday squad for the final game against Motherwell, I thought was pretty telling. But then again, it might be just the case that Andrew's just trying to make a big point, and we don't know to this point as yet just how severe Starfelt's injury was. So there may well still be a place for him. But by the same token, he might be one of those players. I think has he still got a year or two left in his deal? You could still recoup some of the money that we shelled out for him if he was to leave in this window. But then again, if you do get rid of him, then realistically you would have to look to bring another player in as well, because you can't just go for a full season with 3 centre halves. Especially as we don't know how long this injury to Starfelt is going to be. But he's definitely capable of doing it in terms of the ability. Whether or not he's capable of showing the determination and that sort of knuckle down attitude and the demand is another story. But yeah, in terms of the Carter Vickers business, tremendous.
Aye, I mean, I know what you're saying there on sort of Julian. Like he's been used to being that sort of first pick in that central pairing, and he's come back for his injury and he's not that. And to me, at times, it's difficult to say he hasn't shown the right attitude because you've not seen enough of him. But that interview sort of alludes to the fact that he maybe hasn't shown the right attitude. But I mean, time will tell. I think he's definitely got the ability. I think on what I've seen of Starfelt, I would say Starfelt probably wins his duels better, but Julian's a better football player. So it's whatever.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to that. I was reading today as well that Urigidi's back, and I don't think Ostend is actually picking up the option to buy. So he's another player that's going to be available for us. And I mean, I know it's early days. He's had a practically near enough a full season out in Belgium now, but he looked solid when he did get a chance for us, and he looks like a player. So I mean, he's gave us another option because I'd forgot all about him. I'll be perfectly honest, and I was kept thinking myself, I still think we still need to get another centre half, especially if Julian's going out the door. But the fact that he's there, if he's going to be available, then why not see how he, especially in these pre-season games, see how he sort of fares with Carter Vicker at the back, and see if he at least offers something to challenge Starfelt. I also want to just point out as well and just say, Danielle, I've noticed in the chat you were saying you're in hospital. And that you're going in for an operation, you're just waiting for an operation. So I just wanted to say I hope everything goes all right, and yeah,
Best of luck, aye.
Best of luck.
See, just to go touch on as well, if Julian gets back to the player he was the first season with us, he's in that team ahead of Starfelt for me. And I'm not saying Starfelt's a bad player; he was excellent last 6 months of the season. But Julian playing like he did that first season, for me, him and CCV is an absolute formidable pairing.
I totally agree with that, Willie. You don't agree?
Sure.
I mean, I'll come to you next, Stephen. But I'm just going to sort of echo that. I agree with Willie. I think for me, Julian is a better player. But again, I've said Starfelt probably wins his duels better. If you could put the two of them together to make another Carter Vickers, that would be lovely. But
Stephen's got Starfelt in his World 11. That's how arguing his case already.
What you saying on that anyway, Stephen?
I just think, I mean, Julian was a great, he still is a great player, obviously, but he's not got the chance under Postecoglou. I just think in this type of system, it won't suit him. I don't think he's quick enough on the turn, playing this high ultra line that he does with Starfelt and Vickers. I know Starfelt isn't his quickest, but he's got good recovery speed. I think Julian would be caught out, not especially in European football. Me and my granddad always say Julian's the master of deception. He passes where he points where he's going to pass the ball, and it's quite funny. But I do agree with you, William. He has been vital in the past. I just think, unfortunately, last season it told that he wasn't involved. He wasn't in any match day squads towards the end of the season when the league was wrapped up. I think him and Postecoglou had not maybe a falling out, but a bit of words there, and he just didn't seem interested. And that their interview done with the French newspaper kind of pointed to it, really. And I think I'm expecting him to be out Celtic Park this season or this transfer window.
Listen, I'm sort of expecting him to go as well, but I think if you look at it, I think that Carter Vickers would probably be the perfect foil for Julian. I think Julian would fare better playing alongside him than he did against, alongside Aya. I think that Julian had to be the main man to an extent when he was playing alongside Aya, whereas he would be the foil for Carter Vickers, and he would be sort of playing to his tune, if you like. But I mean, time will tell. But the main part was getting Carter Vickers in, and we'll go for there. And I'm sure there'll be ins and outs, whether it be Julian or somebody else. Celtic will be ready for the start of the season. They'll be well prepared.
Can I just want to add to that?
I suppose so, John.
Well, we're having a discussion.
By the way, is this a World 11 special? We don't know.
Okay, we'll get there.
I do want to touch on regarding Julian. I think because we need to remember that for the bulk of last season, he never featured because he was still injured, and then he was recovering from injury. And then when he sort of came back and you wanted to get minutes in his legs, we were at a crucial point in the season where risking sort of swapping players out in that central defensive pair and sort of disrupting that harmony that they've built was too much. But I know what you're saying. Like after the league was wrapped up, then there was an opportunity for him to get a chance. But I mean, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, and we might be looking too much into it by saying Ange's pissed off at the fact. He might actually respect the fact that Julian's saying, "Look, I want to play. I'm hungry," and because Ange strikes me as the type that's something that would probably he see as a beneficial trait rather than a negative one. And again, we're coming into the pre-season, and this is still if Julian's still at the club, I think it'll be telling. These first, how many games have we got now? About 5 or 6 games lined up pre-season. Yeah. So there's enough games for him to feature, and if Ange gives him a couple of chances and he proves that he's capable and he's had a wee bit more rest in his legs, he's a wee bit more rehab in his legs. Who knows? And I think it's still too early to say. I do agree. Maybe it looks like his time maybe is up, but I'm just trying to be optimistic because I still rate him.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, look at last. I know Ange was just in the door, but you look at. He gave guys like a Yeti and that, and I know he didn't have as many options, so he probably his hand was forced a bit, but he did give guys like a Yeti and stuff opportunities in the pre-season. I think we've got like Blackburn and Ligia and Norwich definitely coming up next month. They're games that he could feature in, but again, time will tell.
Kieran.
So time will tell, but we'll move on for that, and we'll move on to just a brief sort of sort of want to touch briefly on Scotland's. I don't know. I didn't want to talk about the Ireland game, man. It was an absolute shambles. To be perfectly honest with you, and I tried to watch it, but I was having a drink, and when they went down 2-0, I was like, I'm an avid Scotland supporter, but I just went into party mode and just sacked the game because it just wasn't happening. Scotland, for me, I don't know about yourself, Wally. I think Scotland should be beating the Ireland team all day, every day. And it was just one of the Scotland as fuck performances. And it just didn't happen for them. And everything Ireland touched went in. Look at this guy.
But I'm not having. I've been arguing with guys on Facebook all day because I'm not having this whole everybody's wanting Clark out and that nonsense. Right?
Pish.
Celtic should be beating fucking Inverness Cali, but they didn't.
Aye,
that happens. Right? So it happens in football. Clark, no long ago, had us on a 6-game unbeaten run, including the Euro semi-finalists in Denmark. We've been flying. No, not unbeaten run, sorry, winning run. So there's no draws in there. We won 6 games in a row not that long ago. Bad result against Ukraine, we were disappointing, but Ukraine were a decent side, very technical side, and they were better than us in the night. That happens. Horrendous result on Saturday. We were terrible, no excuses, but it happens.
Aye.
We're in the best place we've been in 30 plus years with Clark at the helm, and I don't understand this whole. It's this nation, or Britain as a nation. It's just jumping on all negativity, and it's ridiculous in my opinion. I don't understand why people are getting on the bandwagon because it's not as if we're going to get Ancelotti in, and we're no Man City. He's playing the same way he's been playing when we were successful, and the players haven't been hitting the heights they were hitting, and that's the difference. But it'll come good again, and Clark's the man that's going to be at the helm, and he should be at the helm for a long, long time to come. And we're still sitting in a decent place in this group. Plenty more games to come. We'll just pump Ireland at him. We'll be fine. They'll finish bottom.
Although, see losing a goal to Armenia in 6 minutes, that's ridiculous.
I mean, I never.
All right.
I never seen the game tonight because.
No, listen, because you should listen. I don't care. I mean, I was still.
I didn't care what the score is at 6 minutes of a game.
No, neither do I. But it just shows you how lapse in concentration we can be.
John
at times.
Scott, I'm not going to pretend to be the biggest Scottish fan, but we've won 8 games out of 10. We've got the best.
Randy, you're missing the point I was making, mate.
No, I heard that. You missed.
No,
the
you're missing
obviously.
it. No, I did see the final score.
I'm going to have to referee that.
Did I or did I not say that I still thought we were going to win? I didn't think that their goal in 6 minutes was going to be the final result. What I'm saying is, and if you don't think that that's a problem, that you're conceding within 6 minutes is a problem, then
I think again, like Wally's alluded to, that can happen. I never watched the game tonight, but by all accounts, it was a poor sort of first half hour defensively. The 3 guys at the back, according to the commentary, Willie Miller was saying that I think Kenny Miller would say Steve Clark's going to have to do something, and Willie Miller was saying no, the defenders have to do their jobs and like do what they need to be doing. What's this? I'm missing all the comments here.
So Stephen just bringing up once complimenting him.
Aye. What is it about? Is this complimenting your jammy top? But aye, at the end of the day, they win 4-1 tonight. I don't know. Did you watch it yourself, Anthony?
I did. Aye, and it was actually quite in time. So I wasn't having to, if we already scored a goal, I wasn't 2 minutes behind you like I normally am. The telly was behaving tonight. I mean, I think Wally's bang on regarding Steve Clark, but I think, as I said in the group chat, if something had went horrifically wrong tonight, unfortunately, those noises would have got louder. I still think the SFA would have stuck with him regardless, even if we had dropped points tonight, just purely on the credit he's already got in the bank. But yeah, like you say, everything was against us, against Ukraine. It was, literally the world wanted you to lose, and it was just a night where we didn't really get going. It happens. We bounced back with a good win at home against Armenia. We were absolutely awful on Saturday, which, as Wally says, it happens. But we've got it out of the system, and hopefully the team will be a lot fresher come the autumn for when the back-to-back games against Ukraine and Ireland at home come into play. So I think we're in a decent position, and just most important thing is getting to the Euros now. That's we can mind about missing out in the World Cup, but listen, give me a Euros in Germany over a Christmas World Cup in Qatar any day of the week. Germany 24 is no an event you want to miss, and I think we're in a good position to get there.
Aye, I sort of kind of disagree with anything you've sort of outlaid there, but just moving on, I'm trying to sort of race through it because obviously we're on like for the World 11 essentially, but I want to talk about Franny Ralston's performance in the first Armenia game. I thought he played brilliant just because he's a Celtic player. What was your sort of thoughts on him? Did you see that game? Hopefully you did.
No, ask somebody else. I've never seen any of the games.
All right. Did you? I'm not going to ask Stephen because he's just Ireland. But John, did you see it? I thought it was brilliant. I thought
I seen the
he
goal.
Got his goal. I thought he started the game superb. John, but you did you see that game? No,
I did, mate.
good.
I mean, I thought he was superb, and it was good to see him getting the start he's deserved because I think we've all been calling for it. His performances this season have been outstanding. He's proved that he's capable at a high level as well, and I think that we were all happy for it to see him get his start, and especially I think when a lot of people seen the teams in the lineups. I know I saw it on Twitter. There was a lot of people saying that's ridiculous that he's even starting, and then he goes and gets a goal. So I thought he done really well. I was proud of him.
I've never seen anything like that, but I'm surprised some people were shocked that he'd sort of got a start in that game. And I don't think the boy Lovebite, Aaron Hickey, I don't think he played that bad in the first game, but I think that Ralston was well worthy an opportunity, and I think he took it. And then I think, what's that? There you go. Gio Patrick says he was man of the match. Kind of disagree with that.
Man of the match as well.
He did get the man of the match. I thought that. But moving on to just finally the night, I'm going to come to you, Willie, because I'm confident that you'll have seen it. How did again? I never seen the game tonight. I was busy with other stuff with the Wayne and that. But how did Greg Taylor perform tonight? Did he have a good game?
Gregory.
He was.
Gregory. He's got to get a special mention.
I know you've got to have a special mention, but he wasn't great, to be honest.
Was he not?
No, he didn't play well.
Moving on swiftly, just scribble that.
There was actually a cross in, and he was 8 yards out, and he should have headed that, and he tried to do some sort of ballet move and Bruce Lee move, but it didn't come off.
Well, we'll just leave it at that then. That's fine. So, to kind of, I know I've no came to you, Stephen, but I don't think you want to add too much to that, do you?
Nah.
What about the Scotland chat?
Aye.
Well, I mean, if I may, I think that the Scotland we done that there. We done the series last year when they were in was it Euros, wasn't it? And it was. It was brilliant. It was well received, and people were enjoying themselves. I myself, I said in the group chat before, I'm not a big, massive fan of international football, especially when it's just Nation League or friendlies. I like the Euros and World Cup. I'll sit back and have a beer and watch who's ever on, no problem. But in terms of the whole Ireland thing, I just find it funny, just winding people up, especially like William. I have noticed before. I just think both Irish teams are absolutely honking. Ian Barraclough should be getting his marching orders from Northern Ireland, and Stephen Kenny probably won't be far behind him. But in terms of Scotland, I agree they're in a healthy place. They've got a good squad, like Billy Gilmore. You got Ralston coming back in, getting the starts and getting a goal. Robertson, Champions League winner. So if they play well, beating Armenia 4-1, a great result. So keep that going, and surely they'll be in the hat for the Euros.
Well, fingers crossed. I mean, this sort of 4 internationals, I don't think they've been great for us, but sort of end of the season, I think. By the way, I'm not making any excuses. Yeah, Ukraine totally outplayed us in that playoff match. But if we met them in March, and I know I'm no, do you know what I mean? Obviously, what's happening in Ukraine is absolutely terrible. But would it have been a different game had we met them in March, in the middle of the season? The guys. Like say Andy Robertson. So. Andy Robertson was buckled 3 days before he went out and kicked the ball for Scotland. That's everything that's wrong with our country. He should. Aye, I mean, he's had a long, hard season, but they lost the Champions League final.
If you're on a
You're playing
bus
for Scotland
with Calvin Harris, you can't not get buckled, man.
Aye, that's.
Can I just say something, Ross? Speaking of buses, I've noticed a few scouts in our comment section. Phil McGinley from the Bhoys bus is in and commenting, and it's great to see. And a person asked, "Is the Question of Sports special?" We'll be joining Edmonds on the 18th of June for our away leg in this Question of Sports. So he's probably in doing a bit of note taking all of us. So bring it on. Let's go.
Aye. By the way, bring it on. But I hate to tell you, they're going to absolutely slew us. Just get that out there before we even go anywhere. But aye, moving on to the Scotland thing. I was going to sort of touch on any Celtic news, but I don't think there's really much to go on. Cal Mack's birthday today. Happy birthday to him. He'll not be watching, but and I mean the only other nice thing I could talk about is probably Joe Hart on holiday singing about his captain. He's won it all. He's not won it all. He's not won the World Cup and that, but he's done a hell of a lot in the game, and he's just came to Celtic, embraced us, and he's away on holiday at his banger, singing about his captain that he loves. How good is that? But
Boys ripped,
right,
like, by the way, boys ripped.
Oh, but the only thing that's wrong with Joe Hart at the minute is his fringe and his tattoo on his hair. Both horrendous. But moving on, we'll move on to the main reason we're on tonight, and that is our World 11s. Now, I know you guys pretty much know the rules, if you like, but I'll sort of lay it out for anybody that's watching that doesn't. So it'll be our World 11s. We'll come to each other individually. Wow, who's got the dogs? Is that your dogs, Willie?
Okay.
No idea. I've got noise cancelling headphones, by the way. So
aye, well, it's definitely your dogs. Aye, so we'll come to each other individually per position. At least he's got a fringe, Ross, right? Yard, don't he, boy? You've got half a face, mate. Aye, so where was I? Aye, so basically, it's the World 11s. We'll come to each other individually, and we'll go over the goalkeeper, the left back, and so on. And it's got to be a 4-4-2 formation, just for it to tie in with everybody for the poll we're going to do later on in the show for the final 11. I don't think there's any other rules to that, boys. I'm forgetting. I don't think so.
Just the viewers get involved. Get involved as much as you can.
Aye, certainly. Like all the guys.
Did you mention that it had to be just within our lifetime, so we can't pick?
I didn't, John. Aye, it's got to be within your own lifetime. You can have seen them in the flesh or on the telly, and it's got to be a 4-4-2 formation. We'll go through ours. You guys can send your sort of teams into the comments as we go along, and at the end we'll all pick a captain each for the teams as well, and you guys, when you're firing on your teams, can fire in the captains in the comments as well. And then once we've sort of got all our right, I'm trying to concentrate. I can't multitask. Once we've got all our teams sorted out in the autumn, we'll then do a sort of poll per position. Our teams will have created a short list, and you guys, the viewers, will vote on the final 11. So before we go into that, Alistair on our forum thing, he's a regular listener, and he wasn't able to watch live tonight, so he asked me to read out his team. So I thought I would just do that so that when he watches back, he still feels sort of part of it. So he's went Oliver Cannon goals, Lillian Thuram, Ashley Cole, Paulo Maldini, Virgil van Dijk, Claude Makelele, Messi, Iniesta, Trezeguet, Maradona, and De Bruyne. Oh, not a bad looking team, and I think he's sort of showing his age there a wee bit, getting Maradona in, old Alistair.
That Alistair Jack Vittori.
Oh, he'll kick your ass for that.
Aye, he will. He'll be all over that.
Although I think Alistair is the Secretary of State for the Endless Celts podcast, though.
Aye, he's definitely something. He needs a position. Like, he's never away. He's never misses an episode until tonight. But right, so we'll just move on to the teams. Obviously, we'll react and blether as we go. But I'll come to yourself first, Stephen, on the goalkeeper.
Gianluigi Buffon.
Okay, Buffon. Were you between any others, or was that plain and simple? Buffon.
Plain and simple. I think just what he's done in his career, he's won over 10 Serie A's. He's won the World Cup with Italy. Absolutely incredible goalkeeper. Played against Celtic a few times when we played in Juventus in the Champions League and stuff, and he's still playing at 44 years old with Parma, and he's an incredible goalkeeper. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. But I would be very surprised if he hasn't picked more than once, more than twice in this. But time will tell. John? Alan Rough. What's your keeper, John?
Buffon's a fantastic shot. He was actually one of mine up until sort of last minute, but I think in the end I opted for Casillas.
Oh!
By the way.
I like that idea. I think he was a good keeper, but if it was between Casillas and Buffon, I would be going Buffon.
I think I'd prefer Buffon as a person and a player, but I think if you were just as a keeper, Casillas for me edges it just.
I heard a few oohs and ahs there. Did the couple forget about him?
I didn't expect Casillas.
It was an appreciation sigh.
Aye. I mean, he's won. He was at Real Madrid and he won the lot, didn't he? But for me, I think Buffon's got the edge on him. But it's a preference, isn't it? A personal preference. This is what it's all about.
World Cup, 2 Euros, 5 La Liga titles, 3 European Cups.
No, he hasn't. No, but I mean, I think I would say that.
No further questions.
Look, Chadwick's won a Champions League. You know what I mean?
I know. It's not always just about the honours, but I mean, you can back it up with that. But sometimes it comes down to the club you had loyalties to and stayed there. And he's won a World Cup, though, I'm sure.
Casillas to me just reminds me of David De Gea. That's a really.
I know what you mean. Buffon's won a World Cup. Did Buffon not win it in 2006?
Yeah. World Cup winner.
Right, Franny, your goalie, son.
I've went for Can. I'll be honest, I was between Can and Neuer. I think Neuer actually changed.
Neuer.
Neuer was absolutely, but it just I had to go for Can because just all the time growing up, every time he looked like a bastard as well. Just I can never remember any game where Oliver Kahn was in and he got beat. Like his team always seemed to win.
He was a fucking nutcase. He was. Let's be honest.
So
and sorry.
I've went for Kahn. I've went for all.
I think that's a fair choice. I'm surprised that you went for that. I thought you'd have went with Buffon, but I think it's a fair choice. I have to say that I was between 3. I was between Buffon, Kahn, and Schmeichel. And you'll find out, probably can already, who I've picked. Let's be honest, every time he's not been picked, what the fuck are you talking about? Wally, goalie.
By the way, this has been the worst thing ever. I've not slept in about a week trying to pick this team, but I had a shortlist similar: Schmeichel, Kahn, Van der Sar, Petr Cech, and that. But I got down to I narrowed it down to 2, and that was Buffon and Casillas. And they both got like 170 caps for their country, and that's fucking absolute mental. But I went with Casillas in the end, only because he's honours. He's like, Buffon's never won a Champions League. Casillas has won 3. I think he played and won a final when he was 19-year-old. He's won Euros, World Cups, multiple honours. So that's the only thing between the two that made me go with Casillas, because Buffon, I I agree, and he's still doing it at 44 or whatever, and he's magnificent. I couldn't choose between the two, but the only reason I went with Casillas is because of the honours he's won. Far more
I was
than
the
Buffon ever
exact
has,
same, mate. He edged it only just.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that he's got 2 picks.
So mad. So mad.
I'm absolutely shocked. I think he was a good keeper, but I think there's 5 or 6 in front of him. But that's just my opinion. Anthony, yourself?
Yep. So I've went for
Buffon. Or you're out.
I went for Buffon as well, but obviously with the Man United head on, I did have Schmeichel and my personal favourite Van der Sar really much in the mix there. Van der Sar was just an absolute cracking keeper for me. But I did have to kind of think, kind of the way that Stephen had mentioned well, that Buffon's still playing, that he's, he was the world's most expensive keeper when, I just started high school, and the guy's still going and he's still playing to a high standard. And I think what he's achieved over the years speaks volumes as well. But apart from all that, he's a cracking keeper, And so there was a few contenders, but I went with Buffon.
Buffon, and by the way, to back that up as well, he's a beautiful human being.
Oh man!
So
gorgeous.
To go, sorry, Tony.
O'Reilly.
What's that?
Just saying, he's a very handsome man.
He's got nicer eyes than Matt O'Reilly, but Matt O'Reilly's the rest of Matt O'Reilly's facial features are much better.
But GG's got bigger horns, so it'll not look as big.
Right, so the goalies, we've got 2 Buffons, 2 Casillas, and an Oliver Kahn. All top keepers. Listen, every position's going to be full of quality. But moving on to the left backs now.
What was yours?
What was yours?
Sorry, aye, it's Buffon, aye.
To the mask.
Sorry, we've got 3 Buffons. 3 Buffons, 2 Casillas. Totally forgetting about myself there.
But doing a poll after the goalkeepers as well. Is that not how?
No, we're going to do all the teams, and then we'll do the polls at once we've got all our teams out in the open. If you like,
we're just going to recap everything, and then we'll
see if you come on in time for any instead of waiting in Lynn making pasta. You'd have kent all this.
I was waiting on John sending the link at 7:30 at 5 to 8.
It's not like funny to question things, eh?
I thought that would be better.
Oh, did you? Eh? You want to hosting that? You want to just take care?
I'll remember to ask myself who my keeper was.
Oh, right. Moving right to left back before I rip for IC off. Right, left backs. I'll just come same order. Stephen.
Roberto Carlos. I don't think. I mean, I think Roberto Carlos, incredible. I mean, I picked players based on what I seen on TV, and they excited me. They made me get up and cheer for things. He was incredible. I mean, his passing, his technique, his free kick taking, he could score wonderful goals. He could defend as well. Brazilian World Cup winner, Champions League winner, and then he's got his predecessor Marcelo, who just left Real Madrid there recently. So for me, it's my opinion. Roberto Carlos is a shoe-in for left back.
Listen, he was absolutely phenomenal. He scored that goal at Le Tournoi. It's one of the moments that just stick in your memory. What a goal it was. And he scored, maybe not exactly like that, but he scored numerous free kicks. That run-up, 75-yard run-up. He was a phenomenal player, and his thighs were bigger. I was going to say bigger than my head is, but you're going to argue again. But aye, you listen. You can't disagree with that. To be fair, I think it probably comes down to but that's what I was going to say. It probably comes down to that sort of when you were born. When you were born as well. Listen, that's all it comes down to sometimes. But John, what about yourself for left back?
I went for Paolo Maldini.
Right.
That pretty much says it all. If I need to justify that, then
no. Listen, like I said, it's an age thing.
Listen, there is a misconception though that Maldini never played. Like a lot of people see him more as a centre half, but he actually played most of his career at AC Milan at left back. So,
aye.
I was just the only thing I had to clarify why he's on my left back rather than a centre half. But
aye, no, I agree with that as well. I'm basically getting my team away before it's it. I don't know who else to do it. Franny, you next.
Aye, Maldini. If it's all other answers are fucking wrong, like in my opinion. Like the guys,
I agree with that.
5 Champions League.
Carlos is a shout. Let's be honest. Aye.
Oh well,
Carlos isn't even in my top 3. I would put Ashley Cole in front of Roberto Carlos if I'm all honest with you. Like,
well, I'll take your face for a shite, Franny. Fuck's sake.
Maldini, it has to be Maldini, man. Like as I say, 5 Champions Leagues. Welsh is like won. What they won? He's won like Serie A titles and all that. Started his career marking Maradona and finished it marking Messi.
Aye, that's quality.
Maldini, all our answers are wrong.
Aye.
By the way, what a name as well. Like his dad, superb player by all accounts.
His laddie's playing with Milan now.
I know, and his laddie's doing the exact same. Incredible.
Aye.
That's a prick, Franny.
I don't think.
Ashley Cole was ridiculous.
I think I know the answer.
No, you don't. That's right on cue. I've went Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole was ridiculous for a good period.
Listen, Ashley Cole was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He had by the way, I would have, and Bobby Carlos was right up there for me as well. There's a reason I've not got Maldini at left back. You find
Can I just point out something as well? Because I noticed a couple of people are picking players who were before their time. Donny's just done it here.
I mean, that's
Donny, sorry, just in case you missed it, mate. It was just players within their sort of lifetime since like we started watching football. Cruyff was a wee bit before that for us. Same with like Pele's and all that.
But that's why we want you guys, older guys, younger guys, whatever,
absolutely,
to fire your teams into the comments and that, just so we can see what yous would have picked. Somebody's just put Diego Lax out there. He was playing in the Franny. He was playing in the Hangman the other night.
We're in 1970.
I went Ashley Cole.
Aye.
He was solid defensively. He was excellent going forward. I've watched, if you don't, again, I'm going to go on about Gary Neville's soccer box, and Thierry Henry was on it, and he said he was brilliant to play with because back then, fullbacks, when they were just fullbacks, they never ventured forward as much. Henry said he was perfect to play with because he would actually beat a man on the wing, and that would drag the centre or the left back or the centre half out, creating space for Henry. He had everything going forward. He was great. See my lights flickering there. Fucking stranger things happening in my house, man. He was great. He was great going forward. He was fucking excellent going back. He marked Messi out of game on numerous occasions, and he was the full package for me. So it wasn't too difficult a position for me. I said Bobby Carlos might have nipped in, but when he scored that free kick, I thought it was a Sondico blow away. He hit it away because it had that much bend.
Okay.
Ashley Cole for me all day.
Listen, he sort of broke the mold. He was the first, possibly the first that started, like you're saying, beating a man and
your modern day.
Modern day, more attacking, less defend. He could still defend. Don't get me wrong, but he had both sides to his game, and that's what most fullbacks are asked to do now. So he was one of the first to do that. So, I mean, listen, he was in my top 3. Absolutely no doubt about it. Anthony?
For all the reasons Wally's outlined, I went for Ashley Cole as well. Of course, but for the same reasons, there's also a reason why I never picked Maldini at left back as well. Ashley Cole was an absolutely tremendous football player. We off the field, definitely up there on the floodometer, but terrific football player. So he gets in my team.
Brilliant kid, brilliant. I love that. Aye, well, I mean, again, all top quality players.
Cole was ridiculous, man.
Aye, he was unbelievable. But for me,
ever to be in the English Premier League. He's hands down.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. I don't think MD really comes close. But
Dennis Irwin, maybe?
Nah.
Aye, but
for what I agree, I would Ashley Cole would get it for me too, but
I think so.
Irwin was some player.
Dennis Irwin.
Well, I think he's on know what I picked again.
Who?
That's what I guess.
Laxalt.
Aye, Laxalt. Mr. Maldini. I went Maldini. I just think, well, for me, I think the reason I went from at left back is because I think he's a better left back than he was a centre half. I think, like Franny alluded to, he played most of his career there for Milan. I just think for longevity and the things he won in the game, and by the way, I absolutely loved Ashley Cole, and I think probably Ashley Cole, dare I say it, was even a better left back at Arsenal than he was at Chelsea. And I know he won more at Chelsea, but when he just burst onto the scene and he was phenomenal. And when he went to Chelsea for Arsenal, I was absolutely gutted. Aye, but Ashley Cole did burst onto the scene. Micah Richards didn't. But aye, for me, Paul Maldini has to go in at left back in my team all day, every day. What was that?
Fair enough, right? Absolutely.
So moving on, we're going to do the centre backs as a pairing. So Stephen, your central defensive pairing, please.
I mean, I think these central defensive two offer everything really. Skill, they can keep the ball, pass the ball, defend when needed, can read the game really well. Virgil van Dijk and Maldini. I think them two together would have been a phenomenal partnership. Maldini, for that experience, his know-how, it's pure elegance. Van Dijk taking the ball from the back, being the ball player. The perfect sort of partnership, in my opinion. And that's why I picked them two. And have to admit, though, Ross, it took me ages to kind of fall on the sword in this one because there's lots of players like Nesta, Chiellini, all them types of guys. But these guys, for me, again, based purely on what type of football I like, is who I picked.
Mm-hmm. Aye, listen, good choices. I'm not going to say nothing this time because I'm just taking my full team away. But anyway, good choices, Stephen. I like it. And listen, Van Dijk is top drawer, Maldini's top drawer. We don't really need to tell people that, though. I mean, everybody that we're going to be in this team is going to be top drawer. But John, your central batting pairing. Your central batting pairing. Your centre back pairing.
I went for Puyol as one of them, and my other one was Cannavaro.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Aye, wow.
Again, for the same reason, Puyol for me is like he's probably one of the, if not the greatest centre half I've ever. Chocolate spit. Greatest centre half I've ever seen.
I thought you were going to start greeting there. I
was getting emotional. But no, I mean, I did. He's definitely one of the greatest centre halves I've ever seen. It was no nonsense. He knew, but he wasn't an asshole as well. Like he was a proper player. He could read the game better than anybody I've seen. He was just absolutely superb, solid defender, and quite possibly one of the greatest captains to ever play the game as well. And Cannavaro, I mean, in his day, on his day, Cannavaro was untouchable for me. Because I mean, I look at my guys, maybe getting a wee bit away as well, but early days as well, growing up, some of you know that I was a big fan of AC Milan. I'm still a fan of AC Milan, but I watched a lot of Italian football, and I was always blown away. Cannavaro was always absolutely superb for me.
Just sort of touching on Puyol, I mean, even you see some of like the reels now, and as good a player as he was, the ones I enjoy the most is like his teammates rolling about on the floor, and he's like, "Fucking lift, get up off your arse, stop the carry on, go on with the game." He was just a true sportsman, and just an absolute battler. What a player! Absolute brilliant choice, I have to say.
Like Phil summed up perfectly there as well. Absolutely fearless.
Aye, put his body in the line, like most of the defenders that we're all going to pick probably would have done. But brilliant play. Colin Henry, aye. Barnet, absolute Barnet. Franny,
Great part himself.
Well, John didn't pick a bastard in Puyol. I picked a proper bastard in Sergio Ramos. As one of them. Like, by the way, I was close to picking Rio Ferdinand as well, but I had to go for Ramos. I just thinks he's won in the game in that as well, and just to achieve what he done after with about 700 red cards was absolutely ridiculous. I know, like my centre half pairings on looks, and I think you would have Muir, who was.
I know. I've wrote it down already.
Alexander Nesta. It was always gone in for me. I've always loved the guy. There's better defenders out there.
Nesta's a shout.
Like I'll admit, Cannavaro was probably better than him. There is better centre halves.
Somebody mentioned
probably better than him.
Costa Curta as well. By the way, that's a shout.
What a player.
Costa Curta was good as well. But I just loved Nesta growing up, man. Absolutely.
Nesta's a great player.
It was the only position that wasn't hard for me. He was always in my team.
I knew you were picking him.
My centre halves were Sergio Ramos and Nesta. I went for looks in there.
Aye, listen, and two beauties at that. Two beauties, kid. Well, I am. What's your two central pairings?
Well, I think you know I've got Paolo Maldini in there first of all. He's easily.
I didn't know that.
He's easily the greatest defender of my generation. It's not. I think he's head and shoulders above the rest. I think there was only about four players on my team that I had just nailed down straight away, and the rest I struggled with. And Maldini was one of the ones that he's definitely in there 100%. The other one I did struggle with, not because I can't find any centre halves, it's because there's far too many that. But I had Ferdinand on my shortlist. I think he was the first of the ball playing centre defenders that we've seen of this generation now. And I narrowed it, even going further back with Tony Adams and that Arsenal team and stuff like that. And I know before we've said like the Pereses and Comans and Beckenbauers and that, but they were before me as well.
Aye.
So I narrowed it down to Cannavaro or Puyol, and I went with Cannavaro. I think that he's won. I think captained that like the World Cup and stuff. Fabulous player, and for a defender to win a Ballon d'Or is unheard of. I don't think anybody in our generation has other than him. So for to win a Ballon d'Or as a centre half, he's got to go in. So that's me, Cannavaro and Maldini.
Aye, 1-3 to win a 1-3 defenders to win a Ballon d'Or, and well, in the history, I think. I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. But Anthony.
Yep. So Stephen, great minds clearly think alike, mate, because me and you have went with the same pairing. There was no way that Paolo Maldini wasn't going to be in there on some level. So I've went him in a centre half mode because I just felt like, you know, when I seen him at Parkhead when Celtic played Milan, he'd be moved to the centre half position then, and you know, just tremendous player. He was one of the kind of what I was talking about before we went on the air. I said, you know, there was a few non-negotiables and then you worked your way around it. So Maldini for me, any of the other players that the boys have picked would have been perfect as well. But I just think Van Dijk gets so much praise, and I think it's all earned, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think he was the game changer in getting Liverpool back into, you know, winning a title. And obviously, you know, they've made, you know, two Champions Leagues the last 3 years or so, or is it 3 in the last 4? I can't remember exactly. But yeah, he is some player. And I think the two of them would be pretty decent. I wouldn't fancy being an attacker going up against the two. So Maldini and Van Dijk for me.
I have to admit, I would take Van Dijk back at Celtic. I'd probably take Maldini back at Celtic as well. Back at Celtic, I'd take him at Celtic.
I think he could do a job for us, like.
Oh, aye. Even the now.
Julian's going to afford both of them for me.
Well, hey, he might not be at the club. He might not be at the club next season. And then we'll need to bring in another defender, because you can't just rely on Welsh. We're going to go over this debate again. My central pairing, I think for me, the one that was an absolute 100% nailed on certainty was Cannavaro. Absolutely unbelievable defender. I think he's the best defender I've ever seen in my life. I think he could play. He could defend like fuck. Nothing got by him. For Italy,
That's good that he could
World
do
Cup.
that,
Aye, but like just totally unbelievable. Just nobody could get by him. He just read the game so well. He was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And like any time he played, I just like couldn't take my eyes off him. And usually, like defenders are no the ones you watch per se, but he was just an outstanding footballer. And like Willie alluded to, a Ballon d'Or as a defender. No more need said. That's it. And the guy alongside him, probably an unpopular choice with the viewers and all you guys here, but I think
Calvin
he was.
Bassey.
Nah, I think he was an absolute colossus, a superb captain, a leader. He was a threat in the opponent's box. He could play. He could pass. He could pick out a long diagonal. John Terry, absolute phenomenal defender. Absolute tremendous. For me, he was class, and I watched him a lot more than I watched some of the guys that you have picked. Maybe that's how I've sort of leaned towards him. I watched more English football growing up than I did Spanish. I did watch a lot of Italian football. That's why Cannavaro was in there. But for me, John Terry was phenomenal, and it's a wee bit out there, I know. But when you aye, exactly, aye. But when you look at some of the guys you have named there, obviously Van Dijk, Puyol was right. He was right there. Van Dijk, I think it's because he's still playing and he hasn't finished his career. That's how he didn't just quite get there for me. But I think John Terry, we can say what you want about the guy, but he was a tremendous football player.
Yeah.
But right backs now. So, by the way, the keepers and the defence is shaping up brilliant. What's it? John Terry's some centre back, but another one who's high on the FUD. 100%. But pick FUDs if you want. Right, Stephen, right back.
Philippe Lahm, unbelievable
player.
Unbelievable player.
Is he Spanish?
Not only no Philippe, you know what I mean? Philippe Lahm, whatever. Stop. Right, you all get your chance to speak. I'll speak. Right.
Adaba Lahm,
but Philippe Lahm, whatever. I just think not even because he played right back all during that Premier League success, obviously winning Bundesliga titles, Champions League and things, but the fact that he could switch in another position when Pep came totally changed him to prolong his career. A fantastic, intelligent footballer. And he won was it the World Cup with Germany or the Euros? It was one or the other. Just an all-round, yeah, probably both. All-round absolute legend for me. And again, someone I enjoyed watching. He was class on the ball. Incredible. Philippe Lahm.
Aye, brilliant player, Stephen. Absolutely brilliant player. I don't know who was put that comment in there, but Panucci, what player he was.
Monty.
What a player he was, man.
By the way, Gio came in with an absolute. By the way, what a shout Thuram was.
Oh, absolutely. He was on my short list. Was he in my team? You'll find out.
That'll be a no then.
Keep the game away again there.
But aye, listen, see if you were old enough. I probably did watch them, but I wasn't old enough to totally remember John Joe Kenny. You could essentially pick the Milan back four in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think they went through an entire Italian season and conceded like
13
it was 13 goals it was, unbelievable. Danny Alves, what a shout. But Philippe Lahm, brilliant pick.
By the way, the goalkeeper was on my Sebastiano Rossi was the goalkeeper. He was on my short list.
He was class, by the way.
Incredible.
Big Zubi Zareta, I know what a keeper he was.
Dan Harper was alright there.
He was alright. So was Kev Steele. Anyway, John, you're right back.
I went for Cafu, mate. Again, he's just absolutely incredible. And much like you were saying about with Cole, I think Cafu, he enveloped that sort of modern day fullback role as well. He was absolutely fantastic at getting up the pitch. He was just an absolutely superb defender. And as far as I mean, Lamb is a fantastic shout. He was on my shortlist as well. Thuram is another shout, but Cafu, I can't. There was no. I was trying to work out how I could maybe fit other. I just couldn't justify no having Cafu in the team.
Mm-hmm. And listen, he was still doing it the other night. And
he was, wasn't he?
Soccerhead. He's up doing that. I don't know what age he is. He must be pushing 50 easy. And he's up doing that line still. It wasn't a beady sweat on him. Mm-hmm. Cracking player. Franny, right back.
I had a few like Thuram was on it, Dani Alves was on it, like Zanetti. I was trying to get Zanetti in, but I had to go for Cafu as well. Aye. Guy won 2 World Cups in that. It was, I was Cafu. It was just ridiculous growing up and stuff.
That Brazilian team, man, in the 90s was just unreal. Like you could pick your entire world 11 just with them.
Won 2 titles with Roma as well. So it's like it's a team in that. So
did they win 2 titles with Roma as well? Eh?
I'm pretty sure it was 2 with Roma.
Yeah, didn't know that. We start there, kid. I'm the stat man. Stephen's beeling. Steve coming out his headphones. You bastard.
Cafu for me, mate. Cafu for me at right back.
Right, Wally.
Oh, I went proper left field in my right back. It's going to be.
Well, that's in the wrong position, kid.
There's going to be moans in there, right? Right, I had everybody above that you have commented on, and I've changed my mind on this about 15 times. Cafu, Dani Alves, Philippe Lam, Thuram, I had them all, right? But in the modern game, fullbacks are like as important to the team as anybody else in the park. It's a totally different position now. And I've went with Alexander-Arnold because he has got everything. He could actually play anywhere in the park. But he's like going forward and all the rest of it, he's got far more than all the aforementioned people. He's got 10 plus he's got 10 plus assists in the last. He's got double figures assists in the last 3 or 4 years or something. He's still young. He's won everything in club football. I reckon in 5 or 6 years we'll be saying he's up there with the best. And just for me, on purely based on the football that Liverpool play and his that like Liverpool in the last 2 or 3 years are one of the best teams I've ever seen. Ralston was up there too. Liverpool the last few years has been one of the best teams, definitely in my generation, and the football they play is magnificent, and I think he's a pivotal part of that. And just with the other guys that were in there, Cafu was immense, Thuram was, Lam was immense, all of them were immense. I just think Trent has more in his locker, so I went with Trent as a bit left field.
Listen, I think he's a phenomenal player, an absolutely phenomenal player, and I think by the time his end his career comes, I think he'll be in that bracket. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying you're wrong, absolutely not. But again, it was a bit like Van Dijk. He did pop into my head because why would he know he's that good? But his career's no done, so that's just how I've just held back if you put him in my team. But it's a player that you can't disagree with it. He's an absolute phenomenal player, and that he's even got free kicks in his locker that some of the guys that we've mentioned haven't. But a very good choice, a surprising choice, but a very good choice. That's it, kid. Always a bit like you say, left field. Right, Anthony.
Nothing wrong with that, Wally. So like Wally, there was a lot of all the guys that made the list. Zanetti, Trent, Gary Neville, Calvin Bassey. The lot of them, they were all there. But a bit like a few of the rest of the boys, though, I ended up going for Cafu. I thought he was just a terrific player. He's probably the first. It was kind of just in that era where you were starting to understand football and about how the different positions and things like that. And yeah, he was probably the first kind of great right back that I'd seen. So I've kind of always had a soft spot for him ever since. So, but everyone that was said there was more than in me a shout, but I played it safe and went with Cafu.
Aye. Listen, a bit like the Maldini one with Franny on the other side. I think, no.
Aye.
Was it?
Aye, Maldini on left back.
Aye, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one there. Aye, I think Cafu has to get in there for me. I think all other answers are wrong, but he's just he's an unbelievable player. And by the way, when we were chatting there, and that another name popped into my head that hadn't thought about when I was trying to assemble my team, but I mean, just popped into my head. I can't remember if he played left back or right back. I'm not saying he gets into the team, but I just remember being a phenomenal player. Was Lisa Rizzo?
Left. He was left back. He was on my list for left back, but I ended up going with Ashley. But great player.
Aye, I couldn't mind what side he was on there, but it just popped into my head, and I thought, he was a player as well. Like, but for me, it's Cafu all day long. And again, like watching him the other night, I know he's obviously not the same as what he was, but the days at Milan and the early noughties playing for Brazil in the World Cups, he was just he actually looked like an old man playing a young man's game at times, but not in the sense how he got about the pitch and that. Just he looked like he was too old to be playing the game at times, but he was just an absolute class player. But a lot of that Brazilian team was. But so that's us got our goalkeepers and our back four assembled, and they're looking pretty nifty. I'm keeping a note of these, Johnny. You taking a note of them as well?
I've taken a note for the polls and that as well.
Aye. If you've missed anything, then I've got it all here anyway, so we'll see how it goes. We're just sort of winging it a wee bit as well. But we'll move on to our left midfielder now. And again, we'll come to our captain, Stephen.
No problem. I just want to say as well, Ross, I mean, everyone in the comment sections are getting involved, and Monty agreed with you. Liverpool is a class left back. Again, I'm probably mispronouncing that name, but sure, everyone's getting involved. Danny Boy, Germany are 3-0 up in Italy. England are getting beat 1-0 by Hungary at the minute, so making for a great show as well. But I mean, in terms of my left midfielder, now, I think me and John both asked the question, can you move players back and things? And I've done that. I've took the advantage of that. I put Ronaldinho at left mid. I just think I couldn't leave him out. I actually switched him out with someone today. I'll name him after the show. You might be surprised, but Ronaldinho for me was the first person I watched on a football pitch, bar a Celtic player, and thought, oh my God, the tricks, the goals. I remember a young Paul Caddis got his debut against him, albeit Caddis played him well for the 45 minutes he was on, but Ronaldinho just oozes class. He can take players on for fun. Even towards the later end of his career at AC Milan, he was still doing it. All them flicks, overhead kicks, and bottom corner top bins, wherever you want it. Ballon d'Or, La Liga, Serie A. Go back to Brazil, owning the Brazilian league for however many years he played on it. Absolute baller of a player, unbelievable.
Aye, he's the most skillful footballer I've ever seen in my entire life. Absolutely phenomenal. True great at the game. John?
That's another position that I was having. The left and righty midfielder were two that gave me absolute headaches, because again, it was players. I was looking at players that maybe played a wee bit further in front than your standard sort of left mid in a 4-4-2. But like Stephen, Ronaldinho edged it for me. It came down. Ultimately, it came on, and this might surprise people. I don't know, but it came down to him and Giggs. Because I thought Giggs, again, was another incredible left midfielder. One of the most skillful players I've seen as well, like just naturally talented. But I couldn't leave Ronaldinho out. And like Stephen as well, he was a joy to watch. He was just great to watch. He always seemed, that smile, man, it was quite infectious as well. He just made you, like, he just loved the game. And you could see that in the way he played football. And some of the stuff he did, like, you can go back and watch clips of him, man. He does things that you just never see, and you'll never will see. He's absolutely amazing at what he done. Superb player.
What was that? What was that trick he basically invented with a flip flop? Everyone tried it on the pitch. It was like boom, boom, and he would pass the player both sides of the feet.
I get what you mean.
Unbelievable.
I nearly broke my neck a couple of times trying that at 5. So did my opponent. But Again, great. Well, it's the same as
Paddy's a great shout.
Paddy is
what
okay.
a player. See that World Cup '94? He was absolutely tremendous.
Unbelievable.
2-0 Hungary. 2-0.
Ideal.
Thanks for that, Jeff.
Yeah, I was just going to say
that. What's that, Jeff? I don't know, Jeff.
Was he sent off?
No, Jeff.
Franny, left mid.
Ronaldinho as well. Like I was toying with the idea of putting Neymar in because I think he's
cock.
Like, he's a cock. He's an absolute cock. But
Pedometer was invented for him.
Yeah.
What he's done in the game is
right through
ridiculous. He's got to break Brazil's goal scoring record and things like that. But Rivaldo, I toyed with Rivaldo being in there, but I had to go with Ronaldinho. A lot of the reasons, like Stephen said, just the guy was ridiculous. Just always played football with a smile on his face. Loved watching Ronaldinho. And I think it was like a 3-year period. The guy was just untouchable, absolutely untouchable. So I had to be Ronaldinho in there for me. Like my midfield, you'll soon see balance. I've not got a team on balance.
Listen, they're not going to play tomorrow, so it doesn't matter about that. It's just who you want, but
good job because some of them are on their holidays.
Neymar is a bell end.
Oh, I agree with that. But it's a fighting player, but I had to for me.
Aye. Listen, he is a class player, but I didn't like the guy one single bit. But I mean, this left side of this midfield is becoming a little boring. But we'll come to yourself, William, and see if you're going to have picked Paul Telfer or something.
This is what's been keeping me awake every night, and I actually feel sick saying it. I actually feel physically sick, but Ronaldinho's not my left winger, and that's what I've really, really struggled with not having him in the team. But I'm like Phil McGinley. I'm like Phil McGinley. I can't leave Cristiano Ronaldo out, and he's not going up top. So Cristiano Ronaldo has to play on the left for me. One of the greatest of all time. The goals that he's scored. He's the greatest goal scorer ever. You can't not have him in your team. And he's not going. He's not a striker, because when you see my strikers, you'll be like, fucking hell. So you had to go on the left, but I honestly, I was sick to my teeth. So sick every night, thinking I'm not going to have Ronaldinho in this team, because he is a spectacle and somebody that draws you into the football and the whole samba style and the tricks and the flicks and it was everything. Growing up watching him was just absolutely mesmerising. But I've had to go with Ronaldo because I can't get him anywhere else in the team.
The funny thing is, Willie, I swapped Ronaldo out for Ronaldinho.
Oh, wow. I will admit as well, originally I was toying with Ronaldo at that position as well for quite a while, and it was like you say, it just absolutely. The 4-4-2 is what done it, man. It's a killer. By the way,
that's a good choice. By the way, Daniel.
Same as what John said as well for me as well. By the way, Ryan Giggs he's one of my favourite players of all time. He was immense in that left wing. Some of the mazes and that goal in the cup semi is like one of my favourite goals of all time. It's magical. So he needs a mention too. He was, but it was between Ronaldo and Ronaldinho for me, and I've had to go for CR7.
Fair enough, mate. I mean, he's possibly the greatest player of all time. He's got to get in the team somewhere, isn't he?
Stephen looking phenomenal. Got him in his team.
I was too young to remember him.
Remember at the start of the season, Ronaldo was
by the way,
from Man United.
Oh man, Arjen Robben's another shout. By the way, that just popped into my head when Ribery came up.
He played on the right there, He's on my short list for the right.
Aye,
will he be on my team though? No.
Evidently not. Anthony, your left midfielder.
Yep, and two great things with Ronaldinho. You know what a player. But Willie hit the nail on the head. CR7 is he can sit in any room and be in a debate with any of the greats and say I'm the best. He can have that opinion, and it's an opinion a lot of folk will share. He is an incredible football player. He was, in fact, might even, was he the first name on my team sheet? I'm not sure, but he was one of the ones that it wasn't even up for debate who was going there. Cristiano Ronaldo. But to be fair, you could have put him up front, but as Wally says, the two guys I've got up front, you can't really knock either. So you've got to get Cristiano Ronaldo in the team. So he goes on the left. Again,
I can't argue it. What a player. Me, myself, I went for Ronaldinho as well. I think he's got to go out there on the left, because for me, like you have done with Ronaldo, I don't think Ronaldinho gets into the front two for me. But you've got to get him in the team, and his flicks, tricks, everything. He had it all. He won. He done well, and I don't know if he won. I think he did win a French league title. He done it in Italy. He done it in Spain. He's just a phenomenal player. And my one amazing memory of Ronaldinho was, I'm sure, I can't remember the exact score. I think it was a 3-3 draw at Stamford Bridge. And Czech at the time was the best goalie in the world. And he's standing at the edge of the box, maybe about 20 yards out, absolutely nailed backlift. Does I know you can't see my feet, but he does a wee hang with his feet, as if he's going to go that way, and he just stabs it. But the power he gets on it, and this is the best goal in the world at that time. Can't get near it. Unbelievable goal, and there's no other player that I've watched could have scored that goal. He was.
See the thing with Ronaldinho as well, for me, I don't know, everybody talks about the flicks and the tricks, but he was fucking strong as an ox.
Aye.
And he's passing about. See when he would take passes on the half volley and spin them, and they were weighty pass was unbelievable. He did have everything. It makes me
the way he done it. The way he done it as well. I've never seen anybody really master it quite like he did. But that no look pass, he didn't.
I was just going to say that. Aye.
He could thread a needle without even looking, and it was his technique was just absolutely incredible, and his awareness.
Aye.
So what was that? Is that only came down to Ronaldinho and Ronaldo against with all sixes?
Aye.
Yeah, it has. Aye. There's 4 Ronaldinhos, 2 Ronaldos, so that'll be a vote of 2. Aye. Cristiano Ronaldo. Right, so we'll move on to the centre mid pairings. And we'll come to yourself, Stephen.
Well, Franny said he didn't go with balance. I've tried to pick my team as a manager and balance it out and be a wee bit technical about it. So I've went for 2 players who, in their own right, are both phenomenal players, and I've had to leave out their midfield partners as well, which has kind of irked me a wee bit, much like Willie. It's so frustrating when you have so many great players you can't fit them in. But I've went with Roy Keane and Iniesta. I've went with Roy Keane because he's a general. He's a leader. He sweeps up. He can play the pass. He's the guy you don't want to mess with. And then Iniesta's just the elegant ball player. Can take players on, play them through the needle passes like he done for Messi all them years, and he done for Kyogo up until Kyogo joined us from Vissel Kobe. So that's my midfield 2. Again, based purely on 2 players that more Iniesta, but 2 players I thought would be fantastic playing together.
A lovely balance, I have to say. Roy Keane, tremendous, absolute stalwart in that very, very successful Man United side. And Iniesta, there's no words for that guy. World Cup final goal. Just an incredible. absolute baller. By the way, if you've went for balance, that balance is really, really good for me. Aye, great choices, Steve. Aye, listen. Again, World Cup '94, he was unbelievable. By the way, I've just noticed that's film again. Have you watched that Nostalgia World Cup '94?
Nostalgia.
Absolutely brilliant. I watched the first hour of Euro '96 one last night as well. First class. Some of the knowledge going into the episodes is class.
You're fucking Saturday,
That's why I said it. That's why I said it early on. But again, Baggio in that World Cup, phenomenal. You can't overlook him, but I did.
See to be honest, Ross, I was going to go for Xavi and Iniesta, but I couldn't couldn't be that gung ho, but it had a fit of a wee defensive mind in there. Like
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's a bit. I mean, class pairing, but slightly boring when you're picking your World 11. They've both played alongside each other their whole career.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you picked it, you couldn't argue with it. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, you can't.
John's picked that. John's picked that. I'm just trying to think. Hey, John, go for it, John.
Actually,
I've just called you born.
I'm saying you can't argue it. I mean, they proved that they're two of the greatest centre midfielders to ever play the game. I mean, Xavi and Iniesta, any of the two almost seemed an absolute certainty. Iniesta probably for most people would get the nod, but I actually went for Xavi over Iniesta. I mean, it was very, very, very close, but I think Xavi just edges it. I just think he's a better passer, and I think that he's a bit more defensive minded than Iniesta was, which is another reason he just got the nod for me. And alongside him, again, this centre midfield pairing was another one that gave me an absolute headache because you've got so many world class players to pick for. Seedorf, Zidane. Okay. Seedorf was one that was definitely on the short list. I opted for Zidane in the end. Zidane was my final pick.
When you said Zidane there, I thought it was the guy in your team. I was like, oh my God.
No, Zidane made it. But I mean, like you said, you had Seedorf and you had all these other great players that have played. Davids as well. Davids, another player that I loved watching.
Decent,
aye, and it's just Bergkamp, or these guys that you could slot into that sort of midfield sort of role, and it just made it very, very difficult. But Xavi and Zidane were my two.
Just rewind a wee bit. Slotting Bergkamp into the middle of the park.
That is slotting people in.
Right. Anyway, Franny.
I've went with Iniesta as well. Like say, all the countless honours, the World Cup goal. Seemed a genuine decent guy. And unlike Stephen, I've not been a bit boring. Tried to get balance. Like you've got a chance of picking some of the best players in the world. You're not really worried about balance. And Zidane, I went with Zidane. I really I wasn't going to pick Guti. I was going to pick Guti instead of Iniesta. I really rated Guti, but
what a player he was.
And even
unbelievable.
Going back to obviously the Italia days, like Boban was in my short list as well. But I couldn't argue a good enough case, and even Kaka just could not argue enough of a case to not have Zidane and Iniesta in the team. Like Zidane, just for me, best midfielder that's ever played the game, and finished his career he'd button someday. Brilliant.
It was a class headbutt, to be fair. It was a brilliant way to go, but I would have loved him to go out. But that's what it is, eh? There's a bit of the naughtiness in him, and no pun intended, by the way. A good choice. I think there is a decent balance here, Franny, even though you've no went for it. But I like that midfield too. Who are we next? Wally.
See, I'm just got to switch the baby monitor off because it's buzzing.
They've orchid.
Maybe why check the rain first and off, Franny.
I feel sick doing this, man. It's fucking horrible having to leave people.
It's hard, like.
It's like
it is. But listen, they're not watching, so.
Right, well, there's like everybody debates who's better, Ronaldo or Messi, and I can't argue with one of them being the best in the world. But for me, there's 3 players on my team that I preferred and I think were better, just in my opinion. And this guy's one of them. Zinedine Zidane was actually floated about like he was doing some ballet on the park, and some of the stuff he did was ridiculous. And he's easily one of the greatest ever. When he's picking balls out the air and his control and his close control, and again he's strong, scored goals, big important goals. He was just absolutely immense. So he had to go in, no doubt about that. He was one stick on. This other one I really struggled with. Like you talked about Xavi's, Iniesta's unbelievable. Kino, Pirlo, Kaka, I really wanted to try and get Kaka in as well. That season he had at Milan where he was like Ballon d'Or and won everything, every individual honour you could imagine. And I'm going to probably lose a few friends here, but I went with Stevie Gerrard. He is the most complete footballer.
He said Ross's team as well.
He is the most complete footballer in our generation. And if he didn't manage Rangers, you would all be talking about him tonight.
I know, I like him.
He could play anywhere. He could do everything. And I reckon if you spoke to footballers in his generation that played with him and asked them to pick their first 11, Stevie Gerrard's in the team every single time. He was an absolute machine. The end.
I you picked Ross's partner. I you picked Ross's two again. I go to Ross's two midfielders.
Zidane, Gerrard, William. Such
Put
a cute pie.
Put that times two, Ross here.
Nothing's confirmed yet. Anthony.
that.
Anthony, my old son.
It's been some cracking choices so far, and you're absolutely bang on, Willie, about Stevie G. He was absolutely brilliant. Just not quite as good as Scholesy, but that's for another time. But yeah, I have to say I've got my Man United head on a wee bit with the midfield. I went same as Stephen, Keano at the back. I went one defensive, one more attacking. I went for a bit of balance. Roy Keane is everything you want as a Man United player. Just an absolute winner. And, you could put him in that Man United team now and, they'd get back up the table just with that attitude. It's a problem at Old Trafford now that there's nobody like Roy Keane in the dressing room. An absolute legend of the game. It's a real shame we never got to see it. Like the world never got to see it more in 2002. But I adore him. I think he's by far and away the best pundit as well on Sky. Could listen to him talk about football all day, and very, very funny as well. And another one, yep, like the rest of the guys, Zizou's in there for me. I mean, how can you not have Zinedine Zidane in your midfield? An artist with a football, that was it. And scorer of, in my opinion, out with Stevie Chalmers, of course, the greatest goal in European Cup history. The more you watch it, the better it gets. It's absolutely stunning. And the fact that it happened at Hampden as well, gave it that wee bit early. Oh, absolutely, Stevie. Always welcome on here, my friend. Stay tuned. You might enjoy some other players I picked as well.
Mark using that up front.
So you saying, man, Paul Ince was fucking brilliant. So yeah, I'm going with Keano and Zidane.
Listen, Roy Keane again. We've said it. We've touched on it. Stephen's got him. Absolute phenomenal player. Can't argue.
Sorry, just to jump in as well. See that I meant to say about Keano. One of my fondest childhood memories was that Juve game where he just absolutely, I've never seen a performance like that in my life. He actually carried the whole team through that game. It was unbelievable. What a player, man. People think that. Everybody thinks that. I will just unsubscribe then. If Gerrard moved to Chelsea like at the time, he would have won everything and nobody would be hearing that comment. He was one of the greatest.
It was on my short list.
Chelsea would have won a European Cup sooner than they did as well.
Keano, everybody thinks that he was just this badass that kicked people up and down. What a footballer he was, man. Unbelievable footballer.
Oh, just wait, you're talking about that Juventus game. I think it was a mark of the man as a footballer, where he knew that he was missing the final. A lot of guys that went into their shell, he fuck it, I'm getting this team there, whether I'm playing or no. That was a mark of that man. He was a complete team player. He was absolutely superb. But it wasn't Steven Gerrard.
Before we go into the right midfield, I'm going to nip to the toilet. So black and 5.
Right, you know what I hear about Steven Gerrard, kid? No. Steven Gerrard's in my. Gerrard. Steven Gerrard is in my midfield too, all day long. 4-0. Are you hungry?
By the way,
Yep.
Wow.
Southgate will be getting punted. Never mind Stevie Clark.
Again. Aye, listen, Steven Gerrard
I
is
don't
in
care
my
about-
midfield too.
Can you just confirm at any point, has Harry Kane got a shot on goal yet?
I know.
No.
I don't know.
No.
England are down to 10 men.
Why are we?
Go ahead, Ross.
I know. Right, come
Why
on.
are we giving a fuck about
First
England?
11, man. Come on.
I've got a fiver on it.
Gerrard.
Aye, Steven Gerrard for me. Everybody's pissed off, but for me, he gets in the team all day long. He is the complete midfielder, and people can say he's not won this, he's not won that. Steven Gerrard won things at Liverpool that no other midfielder would have won with that Liverpool team. He dragged them to it. He won European Cups when Liverpool had absolutely no right to win European Cups. They got close to league titles, but not quite there because the team just wasn't good enough. But there's nobody got to convince me that if Paul Scholes played in that Liverpool team, he would have won the stuff that Gerrard won.
Agreed.
And if Gerrard played in the Man United team, then everybody would be making the argument for Gerrard being better because of all the trophies he'd won. Gerrard was just better. He had everything that Paul Scholes had, but he could tackle. He was, for me, absolutely tremendous. And I loved him growing up, but when he went to Rangers, I was gutted, and I hated him when he was there. And I still think, even now, as a manager, he comes across as a bit of a tit. But as a football player, he's in my world of 11 every single time. And
listen,
the other one,
being associated with Rangers doesn't mean that you're a shite player, because Laudrup was absolutely fucking incredible. Gattuso was incredible, even though he was an asshole. There's been phenomenal players that have went there that you can still respect and say these guys were actually world class. Van Bronckhorst was another one.
Gaza.
But Gerrard wasn't a Rangers player as well. Do you know what I mean? He was only the manager. But aye, for me, the midfield too for me was easy. It was always got to be Gerrard and Zidane. It was one of the ones like a Maldini. They were a stick on for me. Absolutely phenomenal players. But I think it's quite funny that me and Willie's actually picked the same pair, because I don't think MDL's has.
No.
Gerrard was
on my short list, but I had
aye.
It's not his headed to I had.
I mean, great players. There's a load of players you could have picked for you, and I was the same as well. It was, as much as it was a stick on, I was absolutely gutted I couldn't get Kaka in there, but aye, but for me it was they two.
And then
we'll move on to the right midfield. Are we all back with us? Yeah, all the squares are full.
Yep.
Right, Stephen, right midfield.
Right midfield, Lionel Messi. Easy. That was another incredible player. That Barcelona team from 2009 to 2012 under Pep, incredible team. Although we did beat them 2-1, another Celtic one there for you. But the guy epitomizes world class for me. He scores goals. He is much like Roy Keane does. He dragged Barcelona to numerous titles, El Clasico victories, Ballon d'Or winner, La Liga, Champions League, you name it. Albeit hasn't really worked out well for him at PSG, but recently he just banged in 4 goals for Argentina, so he definitely still has it. Messi for me, in my generation, the best player I've ever witnessed on a football pitch by a country mile. He's absolutely incredible. And like you guys said for Cafu and other players, any other answers are completely wrong. Incredible.
I think you summed that up perfectly there, Stephen. I've got nothing to add. He's probably, possibly the greatest of all time. There's no other argument. There is players, obviously, the players that we've obviously properly seen, but he's right up there. For me, CR7 is right up there alongside him. I think it's nothing in it. But John, you're right midfielder.
It's no Messi. So actually, this again.
If it's no Messi, it is Messi.
It's going to be Messi.
Actually, and that might surprise you, but actually, like similar to what you guys saying, that left and right midfield, it was really, really difficult to try and fit players in, and you're having to pull players back out in their natural sort of position, or what would be deemed their natural position, in order to try and to squeeze them in so that you've got availability for other guys. I didn't pick Ronaldo on the left, for example, went for Ronaldinho. But on the right, for me, I actually went for Cristiano Ronaldo, because you can't leave him out. And there was other candidates. Like you could say Messi was a shout, but I had to try and fit Cristiano Ronaldo in somewhere. And he did play right midfield for Sporting Lisbon in his early days, and I believe Man U when he first joined. So it works for me.
Right.
Listen, it's like you say, it's not deemed their natural position, but you have to somehow shoehorn guys like Ronaldo and Messi into the team.
But listen, you can play that. Messi and Ronaldo, they guys can play anywhere across that.
Like, of course they can. They've done it their entire career.
So there's no real wrong sort of side for them.
When Ronaldo joined Man U, they were still playing 4-4-2 with and Ronaldo played on the right. So.
He played on the right, and he played on the right when he was coming up through Sporting Lisbon as well. I think it wasn't until later on he was moved to the left and then up front. So for that reason, I couldn't ignore him on the right side. What a player, by the way.
Another class player, man. But these are...
We can't forget, because my shortlist was incredible as well. Like Figo. Try to slot
him, man.
I know.
Surprises me, Ross.
Try to slot Figo in. I actually meant to mention that I was thinking somebody. Nedved on the left as well was another one that I was struggling with, because I wanted to... Nedved I thought was absolutely incredible. I loved watching Nedved. And there's been guys coming in with other players and that, and then you're like, it just shows you how difficult it is. But I had to go for Ronaldo. And then
I can't believe I forgot about Figo, but anyway, I mean, he probably still doesn't make it into the team, but he just never even popped into my head. It was quite embarrassing. But anyway, Franny.
Then similar road to Johnny, shoehorning guys in. Like, I did think of Figo and even Beckham outright, but it was one of the ones I had to get Ronaldo in the team somewhere, and he did start there with Sporting Lisbon, played there with Man United. If Alex Ferguson says he can play it right mid, then I can say I can play it right mid.
It's good enough for me.
I mean, they just need to look. He's always like the Euros, things like that, countless titles. Was it Champions Leagues, Ballon d'Ors, over 800 career goals. And guy just was simply, in my opinion, the GOAT. I'm not going to argue if somebody says Messi's better than him. It's a toss of a coin, really, that argument. But for me, in my lifetime anyway, Ronaldo's...
I was just about to say, who's Latino?
Ronaldo's Platini. Lentini.
You got Rossi's
Lentini.
Latino.
Like,
what's his first name, Machiko?
Eddie Guerrero on the right wing.
I had to get Ronaldo in the team. It was initially I had him at left mid, but then I had to get Ronaldinho in, so I had to chuck Ronaldo at right mid. So that's where I'm at with him. He's in the team.
Again, you can't argue it. I think that guy's obviously been serious about Platini. Just to reiterate, it's players that we've seen in our lifetime. So, like guys like that are obviously not getting picked by us because evidently we've not seen them. I know the bald head maybe. I did see him, but I'm younger than I look. But hey, Wally, right midfielder.
That's
what we're saying.
I didn't really struggle with this, to be fair. Like my shortlist had Figo, Robin. We talked about it. Him cutting in on that left foot on the right was magic. Beckham, I thought he was very underrated as well. He was in the shortlist, but it's Leo Messi. Messi's got to be on the right wing for me. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest of all time. He's done things with a football that I've never seen other people do. He's got to be in the team. Right wing, Leo Messi.
Yep, so we've got two Messi, two Ronaldo. Anthony,
actually, this is one I must admit. I accept there maybe was better out there, but this is one it was a favouritism. He's just been in the conversation there, but then again, I also think he's probably the most famous footballer, and I mean that in terms of fame rather than footballing ability. But I think that overshadows just how good a player he was. He could find a ball anywhere on the pitch, a 50 pence piece on the pitch with that radar-like right foot, He could hit a free kick. He could find MD in the box, no matter how crowded it was. And when you think, you've got Zidane in there and some of the guys as well that could head a ball that get on the end of that cross. David Beckham makes my right midfield every day of the week. I accept it's the Man United head on. I accept he's the England captain and all that, but I absolutely love him to bits. Great footballer. So
it's a tremendous player.
Right midfield.
You don't go to Real Madrid and AC Milan and Man United and PSG if you're no a top class player. I don't think I would go as far as world class, but tremendous player. And listen, I'm no surprised you've picked him. I did have a feeling you would pick him out there. I actually thought you were describing Trent Alexander when you were building up, right? But
I thought it was Lee Sharp. I thought you were going to.
By the way, good player as well.
I think Tony makes a great point with the whole fame and wags and all the other stuff. It takes so much away from his footballing ability because he was a wonderfully gifted footballer. What a player he was. He really was.
Best passer of a ball possibly I've ever seen. Best free kick taker, quite possibly. Well, Pirlo's right up there as well, but sorry, crosser of a ball, not passer, crosser of a ball.
I shall sleep soundly tonight, young pig.
Beckham though, again, he broke the mould. That fame, every hairstyle he had suited it. He's an all-round class player. But for me, on the right, I was the same. I had to get him in the team, and it wasn't because he's not good enough to be in my front two. I just really wanted these two guys as my front pair. So I've went Messi on the right in the midfield as well. Again, he's of all the guys that have picked him, he's have said it. He's possibly the greatest player of all time. But there's no more words you can really put against him. That's it. He's possibly the GOAT. He's my choice. On the right, he had to be in the team. But we'll move on to the central forward pairing. And we're going back to Stephen.
Now, I'm probably going to take flack for this, right? I just want to say it already. And I know there's players like original Ronaldo. I never really seen much of him growing up. Adriano, people like that. And Figo, Raul, all them types of players. But I picked this again purely on players that I love watching. I love seeing on a football pitch. And I'll start with the first one. He's my king. He's your king. He's Celtic's king. Henrik Larsson. I said that the Twitter reel I showed today of him rising like an eagle in Euro 2004. Unbelievable diving header. All his achievements at Celtic Football Club, winning a golden boot at a Scottish club was a fantastic achievement. Going to Barcelona, winning the Champions League. Going to Manchester United, where he was regarded as one of the most important players when he was there. Like Wayne Rooney, Ferguson. Just shows that the gravity of Larsson. He was a legend at Celtic. Legend within world football, let's be honest. And our all-time top goal scorer in European competitions as well. And again, I couldn't leave him out. I just couldn't. I know it's best towards Celtic. I don't give a shit. It's Henrik Larsson. He's one of the strikers. And the other one, you might be surprised. I thought long and hard about it, but I was thinking about who does Henrik Larsson enjoy playing with? And usually it's a target man, somebody can flick it on, keep the ball up, flick it round corners, much like Sutton or Hartson did. I went with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Again, the longevity of his career, incredible. Playing AC Milan this season, winning Serie A, they got the title back after so many years. It was great to see. I know he's injured at the moment, but he's going to go back playing when he's in his 40s. Played at Manchester United, scored goals. Him and Cavani at PSG, winning numerous French league titles. Just an incredible player. And that goal he scored for Sweden against England, the overhead kick from like 40 yards out. How can you forget that? Just incredible. That's my two, Ibrahimovic and Henrik Larsson.
It was against Joe Hart as well, was it no?
Yeah, Joe Hart.
Two Swedes, Stephen.
Two Swedes.
Aye. Listen, a great pairing, and like you say, a target man. Obviously, Ibrahimovic was a hell of a lot more than just a target man, but aye, a great pairing. Would it be my choice? Probably not, but we'll find out. Nah, listen, again, it's a possibly a slight age hang as well, but aye, a very good front two.
Can I just say something? Like, sorry, John. Stevie Kenny here saying that we're not mentioning the likes of, again, Diego Maradona and stuff. I never seen, and everyone on this podcast never seen him on TV live or in the flesh. That we're picking.
That's him live on the TV.
Well, I didn't. But, well, you should have picked him then. But I'm just saying that's the reason I haven't picked him. That's the reason I haven't picked him, Stevie.
Yeah. The rules were
just let the man outline the rules, Francis.
It had to be 4-4-2, so we couldn't deviate for the 4-4-2. And it had to be players that we've seen like in our generation. So we couldn't pick guys like Pele, we couldn't pick guys like Cruyff, we couldn't pick guys like Baresi and all these guys, Platini. I mean, all absolutely incredible players, no doubt. And I'm sure if we picked just the greatest 11 of all time, some of these guys would definitely be on. They'd be getting mentions. That is not in question. But we thought we'd try and throw a wee spanner in by doing it within a certain period and fixed to a certain formation to just try and make it that wee bit more difficult, because then you're forced to try and squeeze guys in. And like Stephen's a lot younger than some of us, and we all come from different age groups, so it just shows wee bits of different players in a mix. And again, some of the comments coming in, by the way, we are reading them. They're fantastic shouts. Maradona, of course he is. Platini, Cruyff, all these guys, absolutely incredible shouts. And thanks for staying involved and getting involved.
Oh, yes.
Putting your comments up, because I mean, they're warranted, absolutely.
Aye, well outlined, John. So it's coming to you next, anyway. That was a brilliant segue. Your central pair up top.
Aye, I mean, like I said, I know Stephen, the Larsson, we all love Larsson, but when you consider who he's up against, there's no way he's fitting against. He's fitting into the front two. I had to go with the original Ronaldo R9. Again, I think any of us for this sort of our age group growing up watching him, one of the greatest complete strikers you'll ever see. If it wasn't for his injuries, I think he would be up there. He'd be in the same conversation in that pantheon with sort of Ronaldo and Messi at this point. I think he gets overlooked because a lot of people, because injuries did sort of shorten or hamper his career. He wasn't actually, nobody really seen, or knew guys like Stephen, never seen or anything like how good he actually was. He was incredible. Batistuta was a great player as well, by the way. But the R9 was just, in his day, you couldn't. He was unstoppable. There was absolutely no way to stop him. He would, like before Messi and all that was doing it, he was just jinking in and out of everybody, boggled to his feet, and he could strike a ball better than anybody. His awareness was incredible. His passing was incredible. He was the complete player, and probably, if no, one of the greatest players to ever play the game for me. So he was an absolute certainty. The other one I had real difficulty with, again, because we've talked about how much we're trying to fit in the likes of Messi and Ronaldo and all that. But then it's like you look at other guys that have played the game. Like I was the biggest fan of Shevchenko. We see when he went to AC Milan, I thought Shevchenko, and by the way, at that time, Shevchenko was probably the greatest striker on the planet. I'd argue me all you want, but he was. He was absolutely phenomenal. And I was trying to, like, I had to miss out guys, but the other one, Messi got it right. I'll just say who my pick was. Messi and R9 were my front two. That's who I settled on, because I had to put Messi in. But if it wasn't for Messi, my pick would have been Romario.
Oh, player. Right. That 94 World Cup, I think he was, my memory serves me, I think he was top goal scorer in that World Cup. That's he so many goals he scored as a top on.
It was, but he never I think a lot like Cafu. He just kind of he looked a wee bit out of place. He wasn't the tallest of players, but he was an absolute nuisance for defenders. And like the amount of goals he scored, I think he's what? I think he's up. He scored 1,000 odd goals or something in his career. Aye, absolutely unreal.
See that story as well, where the Cruyff says at Barca he was wanting to go back to Brazil for the Rio parade party thing, and Cruyff's like, we're playing, I don't know if it was Real Madrid or not actually. He says we're playing them. He says if you score 2 goals or something, I'll let you go. And he scored 2 goals in the first 15 minutes and subbed up and went away.
Yeah, that's right. Aye. Brilliant, man. John, great choices. 2 phenomenal players, as you've outlined. Franny?
I say I had difficulty. It killed me leaving out a player which we'll come on to later on. but I had to put Messi in there just simply because I had Ronaldo at right mid. So it was one of the Messi can't not be in the team. What he's done in the game, like I said, I argue toss a coin between him and Ronaldo, who's the greatest player ever in our time. So, for me, Messi had to go in there. Another one, just it had to be the original R9 Ronaldo. I had to get him in. I absolutely loved him growing up. Didn't win as much as he probably should have, but a lot of that was down to honours. He left. Like I still think it's criminal he never won a Champions League, but it just seemed to leave Real Madrid and AC Milan just at the wrong times in that to no win the trophies. But barring injury, this guy would have just, for me, would have broke all manners of goal scoring records. He won, 2 World Cups and stuff. So, and then he was top goal scorer in one of the World Cups. And I think he's the second top goal scorer in the World Cups. And it's Miroslav Klose, I think, which beats him for goals. So, for me,
Klose is another shout, by the way.
An absolute phenomenal player. Like the guy loved the gambling and loved the hookers. That was his downfall as well, man. But
who doesn't he?
Had to be Messi and El Phenomenal had to be in there.
I mean, same as John. It's just great choices. You can't argue it. Willie.
Okay, some shouts in the comments as well. By the way, Henri, Trezeguet.
Ken, what's mad about this
one? Henri was the one that killed me.
What's mad about this is I've got a list, a short list. I don't know why I bothered the short list because my front two were always
about 20 forwards.
But I like.
Even, that.
By the way, I've got a wee special like prime Torres at Liverpool was like just forget about it. Batistuta. Ian Wright's one of the best finishers I've ever seen. Sammy Eto'o, mentioned Shevchenko, Suarez, Michael Owen when he burst on the scene, he was unbelievable. But I've went with R9 for me, my favourite and the greatest player in my generation by a mile. The sort of goal scoring records that Ronaldo and Messi were getting in their prime. Ronaldo was doing that at PSV and Barca when he was like 19. He was getting over a goal a game, like a stupid goal scoring record at the time. And barring injuries, I agree. I think he would have been. He'd had more goals than Ronaldo and Messi. I just thought he was immense. The fact that half his goals he rounded the keeper, it would be 17 step overs. It was just magic. And he's the one player that made me like out with Celtic, made me properly fall in love with football. It was just magic to watch that UEFA Cup final. The clips of him just skinning boys, getting it in the corner and just beating 3 boys, and then he was just unbelievable. What a player. And I cannot believe there's been 3 people before me and this guy has not been mentioned or he's not in the team yet. Thierry Henry was unplayable. And for me...
He's in me for killing me, not getting him in.
I know Ronaldo and Messi, like I said, Ronaldo and Messi, and I totally understand and can't argue with the fact that they're 2 greatest, but 3 best players that I've ever seen in my generation were Zidane, Ronaldo, and Thierry Henry. Put the fear in players, pace, scored every type of goal, he was strong, he was just unbelievable, immense player. And I think if you've got Ronaldo and Henry up front,
scary.
I think you're going down a hamstring injury in the warm-up. Henry is just magic, man. Absolute magic.
I'm not even getting on the team bus.
It honestly killed me. That's the one that killed me that I couldn't get in.
Aye. We'll just not come to you in that section, Fry. Anthony.
Pretty much what the boys have already said, mate. R9. Greatest player I've ever seen. Full stop. La Phenomenon. And Messi as well. All the superlatives in the world. He's a terrific player. Just not quite as good as what R9 was. But incredible. So R9 and Messi, my top 2.
Aye. Yeah. Tremendous picks. No more need said. For me, my front 2, I've went Ronaldo, CR7, because I didn't get him in my midfield, and I think he's the greatest goal scorer that's ever played the game, and I don't know how you can possibly leave the greatest goal scorer that's ever played the game out of your front 2. I just think he's incredible, and I think Aye, but I'm talking about Cristiano, Willie.
I know.
I
was pointing.
But he's a volley, Cristiano, at your front too.
I know, but he's
still on the
fair
team.
Enough. I think he scored more goals. I think he scored more goals on the left wing, but
but listen, for me, he's the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Agreed.
He has to get in that front too, and there's that argument, Messi, Ronaldo. You can't separate them really, but just my personal preference, I just slightly edge for Ronaldo. I think Messi, obviously, Ronaldo couldn't do some of the runs he went on or still goes on, but I just think Ronaldo's had to work harder to get where he is than what Messi, and I think you just look at him, man. He's an absolute athlete and a phenomenal player, and he has to get into my front too. Michel Platini again. And my second choice in that front two is my favourite player of all time. When he played, there was nobody got me off my seat. Nobody got me more excited than Thierry Henry. I think he was absolutely phenomenal, world class. People will argue there's better players than him, and I couldn't argue against that. But Thierry Henry was my favourite player that I've ever watched in my life, and he has to be in that team. He was a stick on for that front two. Phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant. But that's us. Listen, that's us. Got all our 11s out. So we'll fall back again and we'll go back to Stephen. By the way, some choices, really good teams. And again, I'll reiterate before we move on, it was players in our lifetime. That's why there's some guys like Maradona, etc. He was in our lifetime, but I mean, for the little we've seen him, it wouldn't be fair to pick him over some of the other guys. And some of the guys that are a wee bit more vintage than us would definitely have Maradona in the team. And I dare say if I was into my mid-40s, I would have Maradona in the team. But the way it is, the year I was born, that's just how it's fell for us. But we'll fall back, and I want you to pick a captain for your teams now. So Stephen, out of the team that you've picked, who would be your captain?
My captain is Maldini, leader. Just a legend. As I said there when I picked him, he'll complement Virgil van Dijk in my partnership, but just his experience, his know-how, his kind of streetwise mentality, playing in 100% Monday, playing in the Italian league. They're renowned for defending. That's like their art, like Cellini, all them types of guys, and Maldini just emphasises that. I know he's got a son playing in the Italian league as well, so he's my captain, he's my leader, he's my legend.
Aye, listen, can't argue with it. Great choice. John?
Puyol.
Once again,
for me, I think he's just probably the greatest captain I've seen.
Aye. And I think most would say you would prefer your captain to be a centre-back. El Capitano for me is Lauren, but by the way, what a player he was. Absolute class. Franny?
For me, it was only Maldini, only one candidate for me in my team. Had to be Maldini.
Alrighty. I think this is going to be a popular choice.
Yep.
Willie?
Aye. Same with me. I mean, I had like Cannavaro and Gerrard and all that. They're obviously massive leaders and captains, but it was a pretty easy choice for me and Paolo Maldini, the greatest defender of my generation, in my opinion.
Same.
Anthony?
Maldini as well. Only guy that could tell Roy Keane to stay in his place.
Yes.
So, Maldini for me.
And finally, I went with Gerrard. I picked Gerrard as captain just purely because of what he dragged Liverpool to. That was, I mean, the other players, Maldini, but they all played in better teams than Steven Gerrard played in. And again, like I said before, when half the squad bolted, Steven Gerrard won trophies at Liverpool that I don't think any other player could have dragged him to. And I know a lot of it was because his affiliation and his love for the club, but it was just, I've never seen a guy drag such an average team to like a Champions League win. Liverpool should never win a Champions League with that team, but they did because of Steven Gerrard, and that's why he was my captain. But listen, great teams, and we've now essentially created the short list for the viewers to now take part in the poll, and we'll create the final team. I'm just want to make. I've just look at my notes here so I've not missed anything. Basically we'll do the poll now, and while the poll's going on, we'll sort of kind of half debate out of the players, the short list we've created, who we should think win, but the viewers are going to get the final say. So, John, over to you, Mr. Graham Paul.
So I put the first one up in the chat, the news. So guys that are watching, you can obviously vote to who you think the listed players should be starting. So we'll start with the goalkeeper first, obviously.
So you fired that poll up now?
That's up now, right?
Right. So for us just to chat about while the poll's going on, we've got the short list is Buffon, Casillas, or Can. I mean, for me, it's got to be Buffon, but I think it's everybody's going to say who they picked. You know what I mean? Because that's why we picked them. But
I know, but I couldn't disagree with. I picked Casillas, but it was so close between him and Buffon. The only reason I went with Casillas is literally because of the honours. Like I know at Buffon, I don't think it's won a Champions League, and I know honours don't mean everything, but that's literally the only way I could split them was because of that. And Casillas has won World Cups and Euros, and it was 19 in a Champions League final, and he was just immense. So that's the only reason I split between the two. But if Buffon wins, I'm not going to disagree. What a keeper he was as well. He was absolutely, and he's still doing it unbelievably.
The only reason I went with Buffon, not so much over Casillas, but just Buffon as my pick, was longevity. And he's obviously he's no got the accolades that Casillas has got, but Casillas played with a phenomenal Real Madrid team. But just for longevity and he's just an absolute tremendous goalkeeper. Any of you guys want to add into that?
I think Buffon as well. He already has his predecessor Donnarumma, doesn't he? So he's going to be coming up 18, 19. He's been playing first team football, so he'll be another shout in years to come to be in the best 11. I think what Buffon is, like, he's not just an incredible goalkeeper, but he's a humble person as well. You see him, whether he's celebrating with his team or he's calming his team down, he's always in the forefront of it. His experience comes to show. He's never arrogant. He's always level-headed, respectful. And Casillas is a great shout. I have to admit, I'm surprised Casillas got a lot of mentions. I don't really, not that I don't rate him, I just think he done well because of what team he was in. Real Madrid were a team for the Galacticos at that time, and you have to remember Buffon had that spell with Juventus when they're in the bottom leagues and stuff, and worked his way back up again, winning Serie A's and things like that. And obviously it was Juventus' own fault for what they did, but Buffon has to win for me, hands down. Casillas, who was the other one?
Oliver Kahn.
Oliver Kahn. I remember him barely when we played Bayern Munich in the Champions League when Roy Mackay scored against us. I think Oliver Kahn played in that game. He was quite old then. But Buffon. I mean, the vote should be Buffon. I'd be shocked if it's not, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
how long are you giving the vote?
I mean, just while we're discussing it until that's finished. But as it stands at the minute, Buffon looks like he's running away with it. I don't think it's going to go any other way. So we'll end that there.
Anybody else voting? No.
Can I just say as well, Ross? I think this is a great one that Monty put in. It's a good question. Question to the panel: who's giving you the most joy watching the game? The guy that makes you inwardly and outwardly fucking applaud. I think that's a great one. To be fair,
Ronaldinho.
Yeah, Messi for me, like unbelievable.
Henry for me.
I'm 9 for Celtic. Lubo Moravcik.
Oh,
aye. Can't argue with that.
Can't argue with that either.
Aye. Or even Nakamura sometimes. But Buffon, Moravcik was better. Buffon in the brain.
I remember my dad taking me a game and Lubo went and taken a corner for one side with his right foot. We won a corner straight away, and he went and taken it for the other side with his left foot. And I can remember just turning to my dad going, "Oh my god," because it wasn't really see when we were younger. You never really got too many two-footed players, did you?
No.
I just remember seeing it, and then when he controlled it with his ass as well, like,
aye,
different class.
But I would say that definitely, Moravchik. But everybody, Ronaldinho for me. I've never seen anybody do the stuff he's done, and we probably never will.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely he was on another planet, like.
Right, some skill set. Like he was he was an absolute baller on an 11-a-side park, but he could have played on a beach. He could have played in the street football stuff, and he would have just excelled in every one of them because he was just a natural. He was essentially football's version of Ronnie O'Sullivan. Naturally gifted. Doesn't need to work at it. It was just there.
How's the ball looking? As well, by the way, R9 for me.
Aye.
See some of the goals he scored when he's like literally running and beating like 7-8 players, and they're just bouncing off him, and he's close control, and then to top it all off, he would just do 15 step overs around the keeper as well. You're like, that's like the boy in the playground. That's like Martin Callaghan when we were younger, just running rings around us and then doing it again, and then just fucking stopping it and getting it in and that. It's just no
right. My work, because I'd tell a couple of boys at work were doing this, and one of the boys had done. He'd said like Ronaldo's a mad stat that he rounded a goalkeeper 80 times in his career. It was like one where the ball went one way and he ran the other way and went. The ball was
it was unreal.
It's literally like a third of his goals or something that he scored rounding the keeper.
By the way, that performance at Old Trafford, I think it was it. I can't remember what the score was. It was unbelievable that night. Was it 3-0? It finished 3-0 that night.
Man U fans actually applauded him as well.
By that year, he scored the hat trick
as well.
The hat trick, aye.
That was 4-3 Madrid.
4-3. Beckham scored as well for Madrid, did he not? Free kick.
I think it was Beckham's
What's happening with this poll, John?
What?
Is the goalkeeper poll done?
I tell you that.
I never heard you. So
I said I was ending it because Buffon was running away with it.
Right, so we've got Buffon and goals.
Sorry, I missed that. Their teaser.
So they have to in the morning.
I know. Right.
Let's get moving.
Left back then.
Left backs.
Left back.
Right, so the shortlist was Roberto Carlos, Paolo Maldini, and Ashley Cole. So,
how he's working this? Players in different positions.
I know.
It's scary, man.
If Maldini doesn't win this, well, we're fucked.
If Maldini wins this, for example, he gets removed for the shortlist for centre backs.
Aye.
Well done. Well worked out, John.
Good enough.
But for me, Maldini has to he's a natural left back. He played most of his career at left back, and quite possibly the greatest defender he ever played the game. So
good night, Granda.
Night, Granda.
Thanks for sticking with us that long.
Night.
By the way, if Ashley Cole gets it, I've not got a problem with it because what a player.
If he gets it at Maldini, I've got a big problem.
I've got a problem with that. Like,
I've got
as long as Maldini makes it on the team, I'll be happy.
He won't, but
he has to be on the team, Maldini.
So for me, it has to be Maldini.
I don't know.
Is there a lot of guys voting on the poll?
12.
12.
I've not got a problem with any of them, to be fair. All three were unbelievable.
Kieran Tierney, I'm a shout, boys.
Kieran Tierney.
I love KT, man, but stop it.
Try to have a serious debate here.
I know. I was surprised they didn't fling Steve Guppies and Yuri Arisic in your team, to be fair, Stephen.
Monty doesn't like the Ashley Cole chat.
I agree with you, Monty.
Listen, there's absolutely no denying that he was a quality player.
Aye.
And if you'd seen him play, you'd agree. Like he was phenomenal, and he was a great player. Whether you like him or no aside, you can't ignore the guy's talent.
I don't like the Steven Gerrard chat either. I don't think he's always cracked up to be honest.
I think Ronaldo's actually saying Ashley Cole's the hardest defender he's played against. So I mean, that's praise enough, really.
Yeah.
What does Ronaldo no Stephen?
It was everybody. So what you saw ending this then?
Aye. Just keep it quite quick, so because didn't want it getting fucking.
Well, let it run another minute or so, because then it will run the same length as the last one.
Aye.
But as it stands at the minute, Maldini's running a wee bit.
Aye.
Embarrassing.
I think.
What?
No, because I want him beside Van Dijk. I don't want him to be took out of this.
You just say Maldini.
There's better centre halves than Maldini in there.
No, I mean I want him beside Van Dijk. If I didn't have him,
You're obviously confident that Van Dijk's got to be in.
Of course he will.
Van Dijk's not making it, man.
I just wouldn't have Maldini at centre half before some of the other guys mentioned. I think he's going to be left back.
I originally put him in at centre half, but I couldn't justify it. But aye. So poll has ended, and with 64% of the vote, Maldini.
The Italians are flying in the now. Right, so we're going to have to do the. Did we say we're going to do the centre backs separately?
No, we're just going to put them all in, and then the
top
two.
two.
Oh, aye. Right, so we've got Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
Nope.
Puyol. What's that?
Said nope for Van Dijk.
Van Dijk's not
right, so
there.
Van Dijk, Puyol, Cannavaro. You got that, John?
Yep.
Ramos. Nesta.
Fuck's sake, it's only letting me put 4 in at a time.
Oh, for Foxtrot.
Could be here a while.
Fucking dying in its arse, this.
We've thought this through, have we?
Well, let's just run through. See the ones. Let's just cut it down to a short list of 4, right? So we've got Maldini, Van Dijk, Cannavaro, Puyol, Ramos, Nesta, and John Terry. Who are we cutting?
Terry cut.
Van Dijk.
Terry and Van Dijk for me, definitely cut.
Mm-hmm. Right, okay.
How many we got there? 6.
Ramos.
Anthony, you hearing us?
How you didn't need to cut Ramos, but
No, if we're cut, I would cut Ramos before Terry, but
oh, that's right.
Nesta's already out, so you only essentially need to cut one of them out.
So we happy with the short list: Ramos, Puyol, Cannavaro, Nesta.
Aye.
But then,
I'm not so sure.
Near ma.
I wouldn't hear Ramos in
my
there.
two guys are.
I wouldn't hear Ramos in there, like.
I know.
Who?
You putting
in Nesta or John Terry in ahead of Ramos?
Terry.
I'd say Nesta ahead of Ramos for me, like.
But I think it's between Ramos and Terry. Then is it no? Again.
Typical Endless Celts fashion. At least
Very Warriors
about clubs this week.
Where's Glenn Lugans?
Only day 4.
I mean, it's not a hard question. See, between Van Dijk, Cannavaro, Puyol, Ramos, Nesta, and John Terry, who would you drop?
I would drop Ramos.
Pick 2 names to drop.
I would say Terry's one.
Pick 2 names.
Yeah, Ramos and Terry.
Ramos and
Right,
Van
so
Dijk.
Terry's
right, go Ramos and Terry.
Van
Just
Dijk.
take Ramos and Terry.
Van Dijk, no, I would take Van Dijk out, but
Ramos and Van Dijk for me.
Right.
Van Dijk's just
Pulls
done
up.
enough.
Pulls
Yeah.
up.
Who's on it?
Van Dijk, Puyol, Cannavaro, Nesta.
It's embarrassing that Van Dijk's on it. Like,
Well, it's only fair. I mean, if Van Dijk was took out, then me and Anthony's picks would have been gone. So it's only fair to keep at least one of them.
And the pick shite players then.
Van Dijk
shite.
Are
you mental? Mental, like. Same.
I'd meant to say as well, boys, at the start of the show, one of the guys that listens into us a lot, Ricky, it's his wedding on Saturday, and he was listening in the night. So all the best to him and Danielle for Saturday morning. I'll see him for the bevy on Saturday night.
All the best, mate.
Aye, all the best, mate. All the best. Hope your day goes well.
Ricky, all the best.
By the way, this vote is interesting.
I know it's a shambles.
It is.
Man.
How do you? I can't even see it.
I can't even mind who's on it.
Van Dijk's winning it now.
Van Dijk.
Shocker, man.
We've had a few boys in here ribbing us tonight because we've missed out certain guys, and then you've got Van Dijk beating out Puyol and Cannavaro.
Of course. Easy.
No
No.
chance.
Not
Easy.
You've had too many fruit parcels tonight.
I think, listen, right, let's just talk about Van Dijk for a second. Van Dijk is a fantastic defender.
Aye.
There's no doubt about it. Absolutely world-class defender. But he's still very early in his career. He's still a ways off being talked in the same sort of breath as Puyol and Cannavaro.
Aye,
For me,
miles off it.
Two times Champions League winner in the
I
Premier
For
League.
me,
I think he's a fantastic player, but
I think he's
One time.
quality. He's definitely. I don't know how Ramos is even in that.
I mean, do you want me to read off his honours?
Ramos isn't in it.
Is he not?
The other guy
No,
that
he's
was in
not
it-
in the.
Let's pull. Let's pull.
I don't even know. I don't know how
get
you
it,
see
run
the poll.
Nesta's the other guy in it who's with 0 votes.
That's mental.
It is mental.
Is
But
it
again,
anything how good he looks, man.
I
Nesta
can't
was
believe
an absolute
Cannavaro's
incredible
no
defender.
Nesta's
absolutely passionate.
Cannavaro's
is.
running away. He
He
is
is now.
now.
Oh, he is now.
Nesta was a
Thank
wonderful
God.
player, but if you're asking me if I'm picking Puyol, Cannavaro, a pairing out of the 3 or 4, it's Puyol and Cannavaro all day.
Listen, there's a lot of guys disagreeing in the chat about Van Dijk no being the guy. Vote then. Like, get
I mean,
your
how
voice
long's
There's
out.
a
Apple
live
been
vote.
over?
Live
Same
vote in
length,
the
as,
chat.
same length as the rest of them. It's only been a couple of
Do
minutes.
you not think that wasn't too long? The other one's like.
No.
So,
are we
getting-
I can see
Are we
timer
getting
on
the
it.
central pairing with this?
Aye,
Yeah.
The top two, aye.
Aye.
Oh,
So it's-
Come on, somebody vote for
How
Puyol,
do you
man.
how do you actually see this poll? I didn't care how you see
On
it.
the YouTube chat.
I just went
You
on the
need to-
YouTube channel on my phone and just turned the volume
I
right down.
can't do that in mine.
Aye, so far, but I didn't care how to get on the comments and that. Like I didn't care how to get on it.
Live chat.
live chat.
No,
Melon.
all I've got is dislike, share, save, or report.
I dislike it.
Re-
It's been a fucking shambles.
Right, I'm ending
Looks-
this.
Aye.
Boys, if
end it.
I might need to nip off before I've passed because I'm picking Earn up, but I'll stay until then. Just
No worries.
just in case. I thought I'd just let you know in case I had to leave abruptly.
Right backs.
We go to centre backs are.
Cannavaro and Van Dijk.
Cannavaro and Van Dijk.
Can't believe Van Dijk's in there, man.
Up you, Franny. Up you. Yeah.
I actually, Van Dijk's better than Ramos.
Nah.
Oh,
He-
fuck me.
He was a better defender, aye. But he's no better than Puyol. That's ridiculous.
Nah, no way.
Well, the viewers disagree.
Right backs are up.
Right backs, aye, what we got? Lamb,
It's
Arnold
Cafu,
or
Trent. Lamb, Cafu,
and
Trent.
It's mad because you could have argued Lamb for left back there.
I reckon.
that
Probably right.
Egyptian King, he
right
did. He
midfield.
got a mention, mate. John Terry got a mention.
I reckon.
got a mention.
I reckon Cafu will run away with this. I just think
Aye.
he's one of them. As soon as somebody says best right back, he's the first name that pops into your head.
Boom, aye.
Aye.
Automatically. That was a stick on for me, that one. I think I said that at the time when picked up. But aye.
That's- Again, anyone who's watching this along, we appreciate it. 2 hours, 20 minutes, our comeback
I
show
know.
after a break. And here, it's a bit of fun when it gets like this. We're all debating it, all having a laugh.
Aye.
Everyone's getting involved in the votes. It's great. It's great.
And by the way, it's no surprise here that it probably will be Cafu that goes into the right back. He's Brazilian, but well, 4 out of the back 5 plied their trade mostly in the Italian league.
Aye.
Speaks volumes about how that.
Italy's defence has always been incredible.
Aye.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've
Channel
always
four.
gone for it as well.
Channel 4 on a Sunday.
Oh man. No,
Take-
0-0 for 89 minutes, and then somebody would put it in the top bag. What a game that was today! Did you see it?
Take me back.
Passy
Best
shooty.
days of
I'm
my
being
life, man.
I'm being Jean-Pierre Papin.
What a player he was as well.
John said Milan, and I remember that I was always into just because of R9 because I was obsessed with him. But a Milan team, mind Georgie Weah and that as well. They were just unbelievable.
The Milan team that beat Barcelona 4-0 in the European Cup final was unbelievable. See, a player, I think.
Was that 96, 97?
No, 94 it was. But 94.
See, this is the thing, though. Milan has had so many great fucking teams over the years.
Oh, aye. Tremendous teams. I think in that game, somebody dinked the keeper or lobbed the keeper, and I think it was it Donadoni? He was a great player, I know. Donadoni and Savicevic. He was another player. What a team, man.
I love that Inter team it was later than that, though, with R9 and Rakoba and...
man. He could hit a free kick.
Oh, you big jammy. Oh.
Did he not get banned for 18 months for drugs and that?
Pro Evo. Rakoba was brilliant, man.
Mind you, the Inter front two, was it Marcelo Salas and who was the other one? Zamorano. What a front two.
Is he 1+0 or something in the back of his
8+1 because he wanted a number 9.
Aye.
I think it was something mental.
Right, what?
I missed that. That was
only
a nice two players here.
Comment. What was that comment?
Aye, only 2. No, 3.
Cheers, thanks for tuning in, mate. Sticking with us. Appreciate it. Hope to see you again.
You've only got 2 in, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo.
There was only 2.
No, it was Lamb as well.
No,
what, for left mid?
What was right back then? Have you done right back?
Aye, Cafu
won it.
You need to be more vocal, John.
Remember, we're not watching the vote, John. We didn't get out to do that. Me and Ross are the tech guys here.
Aye, I'm not going.
Don't worry, because I'll pull up the team at the end anyway.
All right.
Phil McKinley, everyone's seen the George Weah goal for AC Milan where he beats around the park and scores.
That's the one that sticks in
the corner.
Tremendous.
I love to see.
What a player by
I love football. Honestly,
Phil,
Sunday morning.
Any of your
any
of your scout notes, please send them to me before you give them to Russell, please.
This could be a big ploy to him. We'd ken nothing about football and that. Can't throw him off the scent till
Sunday morning, land of the Giants. Italian football.
Aye, brilliant, man.
Superb.
Who was the presenter again? Was it someone Richardson?
Richardson, aye.
His
first name.
Like on the Saturday when he was reading the Italian papers in Italian.
Sitting there, aye. Wee black coffee.
Aye.
100% Brown Warrior. I hate him.
Brown Warrior, aye.
I don't even rate him as a goalkeeper.
Paper and a croissant.
Nah, I thought he was an average keeper.
Yeah, he was. He was absolutely bang average. There was talk. I saw somebody actually having a discussion saying, I think he was listed as the best choice in Milan goalkeeper since the last 22 years, since the turn of the century.
James, that was it. James Richardson.
There he's fucking beating us already in the question.
I was going to say Peter
Richardson.
I was going to say Peter Richardson because it was Peter Brackley that done the commentary. I was getting mixed up.
That's what it was.
See, just talking about Dida. See, when you see that slap, the slap for that fan.
I remember that
every time you see it.
When he chased him for about 20 yards and then grabbed like he'd been shot.
After. Fair play for hanging it and just I need to
aye.
This wee guy's faster than me. I'm just going to drop.
He maintained the peak.
Aye.
Is Tony away? Aye.
To be fair though, the fan that go in the park and slapped him should never have been able to do that.
No, I agree with that.
No, aye.
So I was saying that just before this poll ends.
Wow. I'm just going to careful what comments you bring up here, Stephen.
I'm not bringing that up. Don't worry.
What is it?
No one knows.
We'll take a picture of it.
Aye, be careful. So. Aye, there was a they put out, I can't remember who it was. It was like 442 or some fucking thing like that. And they says that since the turn
you got your phone on your ass.
The millennium, the 2000s, it was they've chosen Dida as Milan's all-time or since that the best goalkeeper since that period. Absolutely ridiculous.
Dida was shit. I don't like him.
They picked him ahead of Donnarumma, right? Donnarumma is a far better keeper than he ever was.
Donnarumma and Dida. 2 different generations.
Did you listen to anything that's been said?
Oh, right. Pick them. All right. Sorry. Picked right. Okay. Fair enough. I get it now.
Right, Ronaldinho 1, left mid.
Get it! Fuck Ronaldo. Fuck him.
Trust me, Ronaldo will be in this team somewhere.
Stephen,
Aye.
you're such an angry man.
Right, we've got another problem, boys. We've got we can only have 4, and we've
Right,
got
well,
5.
Zidane's in there
mids.
because we all had him
Zidane has
bar
to be in
Stephen.
there. Aye.
There was 2 for Gerrard.
No. Roy Keane. Iniesta has to be in.
Why?
It's Iniesta.
How many
Right,
votes
listen.
did Iniesta
But I'm
get?
using the
Listen.
logic as 4 years picked Zidane, so he's got to be there. 2 years picked
Aye.
Gerrard, so he's got to be there.
Aye.
I think 3 has picked Iniesta.
Iniesta, I would agree.
So Xavi
Roy
drops
Keane?
it.
And Roy Keane drops it.
Who else?
Right,
No, the 4?
2 picked Roy Keane.
2 did.
Me.
Aye.
Aye, Stephen.
Anthony and Stephen.
So it's
I mean, I would put Gerrard in front of Roy Keane.
so it's
We need to
Zidane.
decide.
I think it's
It's
Zidane,
Keane,
Iniesta,
Gerrard, Iniesta, and
Oh, well,
Zidane.
Zidane. Aye.
What? Is it?
That's the most people have voted for, I think.
All right.
Is this for the centre midfield, John? Top 2 again?
No, centre half. Zidane centre half. You fucking balloon.
Oh.
So it's
What's
Keane.
all this grief? What's all this hostility, Willie?
I don't remember, Monty. That name looks familiar, though.
Was that him that scored the goal in the World Cup? He ran the length of the park for. Oh no, that was a Saudi Arabian boy, wasn't it?
Not sure.
Mind Saudi Arabian boys. Can't remember what World Cup it was. I think it might have been USA '94. He beat about 1 million guys and scored.
I ken the goal you're talking about. I think it might be the World for it though. Let's see the World, but
World Cup before it.
maybe.
Who?
Before '94.
That Ali Diaye. Diaye.
No, I was getting. It was a Saudi Arabian guy that. So who's this Ali Diaye then? Don't know.
Some Arabian boy or something. Apparently.
He played for Bayern.
It does ring a
Phil,
bell.
who's Ali Diaye?
I'm pretty sure he was a championship manager. Classic. He does ring
Aye.
a bell.
Was there no boy Giovanni or something that played with Bayern Munich? It was quite good in Champions as well.
They
Aye, midfielder, aye.
had mind Elbert that played up front for them.
Aye.
Giovanni Elbert.
Albert, aye.
He was class as well. And the big German boy,
Janka.
Janka.
Janker. Karsten Janker.
Aye, Roger Miller's.
Roger Miller, what a player he was. That World Cup, Italia 90. I can just mind a wee tiny snippets of that. I was just old enough, but no old enough to remember it fully.
There you go. Did not know that. Aye.
There you go. He's no getting to playing that game, by the way. Absolutely no danger.
Absolutely.
You're going to change it for. You're going to change it for Google to Filgle.
Who's hosting?
What, next week?
I think it's Russell's brother.
Johnny Bhoys.
Get Phil to host, man.
Right, wrap us polar.
Wrap this
Done.
ball
You're
there.
all the same length of time, calm yourself.
Hey, wrap this Paul there. He's just raging because he's not got.
I love how official you are with this
players
one.
Well, I think it's only fair they get the same amount of time.
I wouldn't disagree.
Didn't
with
think
that,
it was going to run as long as this, by the way. I apologise, boys. That's 2.5 hours.
I did. I'll tell you at the start.
I think Phil McGinn's nostalgia on for its money right now.
Okay, eh?
actually gonna
I'm up 2
lose.
minutes for work.
They're asking to start about 10 o'clock.
After the school drops, son.
Exactly.
Usually on the job just after 9. Depending where I'm working.
Zidane and Iniesta. That's your two, Ross.
Is that the two, is it? Official?
Stevie Gerrard got 0% the votes, which is obviously
I
going
think
to
it's
happen
gonna
in
be
a Celtic
Bunch
pod.
of pricks, eh?
I know. These are all fucking bigots.
You're right,
That's a
Wally.
tough one.
We
John,
are
that's a
such
tough one.
open-minded guys. So we're on to right mid.
Right mids are up, aye.
Messi, Ronaldo, or Beckham.
Bex.
Everyone get involved. The vote is live. Let's go.
Start calculating who got the most votes in the forward positions, because we need to narrow it down to 4.
R9, Ronaldo. Well, it depends what goes on this.
Aye.
If it's Messi or Ronaldo gets voted,
Aye.
then they get taken out of
I
this
know.
forward. There was 2 for R9 and Henry. No, more than 2 for
There
R9.
was 4 for R9.
I think
There
Henry
was
gets in
3
there.
for
for
Messi,
Henry.
2 for Henry, 1 for Larson, 1 for Zlatan.
So it's Messi and Ronaldo.
And there was
it's
one
in.
for Ronaldo.
Well,
how
it
many for Ronaldo?
depends how this
CR7.
vote goes. I mean,
This team's going to be
I know
interesting.
Armour.
I think this is
Aye.
a certainty. I'm ending this now because Messi's absolutely scudding it.
Aye.
Aye, but see if Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't make this team, it's horrendous, man.
This is
The
essentially
gods have
the team I
prevailed.
picked.
The gods have prevailed if Ronaldo doesn't get in it.
How?
You didn't
What?
hear
Don't
that
like him.
CR7 in yours, did you?
No, Cristiano.
You don't
Aye.
like Cristiano
You
Ronaldo?
didn't hear him in your
No.
team, did you?
No.
You
suppose
shouldn't,
you
be on
don't.
you shouldn't be on a podcast, man.
Suppose you don't like Iron Brew either. Maniac.
Remember, you didn't like Joe Hart either. You fucking walloper.
We all know he
Oh,
loves
oh.
sloth, but
Is Messi getting this, John?
Aye, he's
Aye. Basically a team I picked, essentially. Fucking getting everything.
apart from Gerrard in the middle of the park.
That's it. It's only
So we
one
got
kid.
up top, the 2 Ronaldos, Henry
Van Dijk.
and
The only ones I've got no go are Van Dijk and Iniesta.
who we got up top, John? The 2 Ronaldos, Henry and who?
So it was the 2 Ronaldos, and then it's between Larson, Ibrahimovic, and Henry. We need to drop
Well,
one of them.
Henry's
Oh, there
got
was
2 votes.
There's 2 votes
Aye,
for
so
Henry.
Henry needs to go in it.
Right, so Larson or Ibrahimovic.
Can't put
Larson.
Larson because they won.
Larson.
I think you need to put.
I think you dropped Larson out.
I think you drop
What?
because it's.
Are you just doing that on purpose? Like
The
Larson
vote- the
needs to
vote-
be in
because
that.
I think-
Well, one of yours has got to go.
I think last.
I'd take Ibra out. Larson, I'd pick him.
Right,
Larson
okay then.
stays.
Okay.
Larson
Right.
stays.
Larson's
Take Zlatan out.
There's Larson went. Larson went
Aye.
in.
And so he should, will he?
I've
So
got-
he
I've
should.
Nah, I've got more faith in the viewers.
Aye.
As much as we all love Larson, you can't be. No, it's just.
We're about to find
You're
out.
putting them in. You can't. I want them in.
So we've got R9,
Stephen,
CR7.
fucking tits. He's gone in.
R9,
Right,
CR7, and Henry and Larson.
Aye.
Aye.
Wow. Wow. Come on, viewers.
If Henry doesn't make this front two, I'm just leaving. I'm doing what Anthony done and just walk away. Not telling him.
I'm doing the same way. I'm 9.
They walking away. Aye.
Fucking. I
That's
told you.
travesty if R9 doesn't
Fucking
get
told
in.
you. The viewers are a fucking. They're all rockets.
Oh, come on,
Right,
man.
Monty, mate, come on. And we, like I says, I know we all love Larson, but
Love him to
you're having
bits,
a
but
laugh.
he's...
Why? Do you not think Larson was world class or something? I don't get it.
No,
He was
dude,
world
dude.
class.
Nobody's disputing how good he was. Are you saying that he's better than R9? Are you saying he's better than Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, according to this vote, him and R9 are winning.
Aye,
So
on a Celtic podcast, you fucking loony.
But if you take your Celtic glasses off, right? No.
well,
No.
Ronaldo R7 isn't a striker. He's a left midfielder as well. He pointed out. So
Aye,
He's
no,
been
he's
converted
not
into a
played.
striker.
He's not played up top for like the last 10 years at all. You're right.
no, come on. You know what I'm saying? He's been converted into a striker. Henry Larson, unbelievable. Unreal.
Absolutely incredible.
Henry's got zero. Henry's got zero votes.
Oh,
And not only
come
that,
on, gee, idiots,
And
man.
not only that, he's actually getting picked to
Henry's
R9.
actually not got 1 vote.
That's made me angry.
Remember when we were going to talk about the? Remember when we were going to talk about the bit that the ones that killed you not to put in, but
Aye, we've got to do that.
But we've been on
Well,
for
we'll do it
fucking
then if
6
you want.
years.
Aye. Who killed you, Billy? It's like a fucking...
Ronaldinho and Iniesta are the 2 that and Kaka. I really struggled with not getting in.
Aye.
Looks like Cristiano's
Ronnie.
not getting in the team, boys.
Aye, Thierry Henry cheated us, but it doesn't make him a bad player.
Henry killed me no getting him in. No getting
No.
Henry and Kaka as well. And
Aye.
a wee bit of Mikuti. I like me not getting him in, but
Mine's
Henry was a big one.
I pull
Mine's
Brent
was,
Warriors comment up, Stephen, because he's bang on.
What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Green tinted nonsense.
Yep.
Correct, Brown Warrior.
Let's
Correct.
As much as I've not got Henry in my team, if he's got 0 votes, it's scandalous, man.
He's not.
That's
He's
not
not
Arsenal's fault.
votes, man.
The ones that killed me not getting in were R9, Ronaldo R9, and Kaka.
Kaka's mad, eh?
Stephen,
For me,
Kevin De
there'll be a
Bruyne.
lot here. There'll be a lot here.
no.
This team's
I mean,
shite.
Pirlo, Kaka,
Aye, Pirlo, aye.
likes of Seedorf, Makedili. He was another great shout. He's a cracking player. I like N'Golo Kante. I mean, unbelievable. Neuer again. I didn't really think of him, but another cracking keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Right back. Fucking, like you said, like Thuram. Never even came into my mind, to be honest. But what a player! Another player that I actually thought of, Eric Abidal. He was a great player too.
Oh, aye.
Jordi-
Jordan.
Jordi Alba,
Votes-
people like that.
votes over.
You do your team against them?
Incredible.
I can't believe you've named the world's 11, then the ones you know to get in.
Claro,
Seedorf is
same.
one of mine, mate.
Aye,
Seedorf.
same.
I was gutted I couldn't get Seedorf in. I was gutted I couldn't get Nedved as well because I love Nedved.
Director of football or something at UV now, something like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
He
Aye.
might be, aye.
Yeah, I think he is.
And there was a couple of other folk. Like I say, Romario. I thought Romario was world class as well, but like I say, it's who else was there? I know there was more because I was fucking.
Trezeguet, Zinchenko.
Shevchenko was another. He's one of my favourite players of all time. So that's just bias.
By the way, do you know who I'm surprised never got?
Desai is a shout, Monty.
Aye.
No,
And
definitely.
the man of Vidic.
Aye.
Lily and Thuram as well. I thought Thuram was an absolute machine.
I thought Ferdinand burst.
Who, John?
Paul's
Lily
done.
and Thuram. Paul's done.
Willie's loving this.
Paul's done.
So here you go. This is the lineup as voted. Well,
It's a
Well,
shout.
what
shortlist
was
chosen
the-
by us, but voted by the viewers. And the final is
Oh, look at that.
it's some team to be fair.
Some team like
Could have been better.
could have been better. I'll admit, could have been better.
Love it.
So it's at Buffon in goal, Maldini at left back, Cannavaro and Van Dijk, your centre half pairings, Cafu at right back, Iniesta and Zidane centre mid, Ronaldinho left mid, Messi right mid, and then R9 and Larson up front.
Oh,
Cristiano
Give it to
Ronaldo
me.
isn't in a world 11.
I know.
Jesus
Absolute
wept.
madness, man. Absolute madness.
Or on
That is mad.
Love
I don't know why Stephen's
shambles.
Stephen's showing his knowledge here.
I don't.
Jesus
I
wept.
just don't like Ronaldo. Is that man? I don't like him. It's
Didn't
That's
he
all.
like
Oh, that makes him a terrible
Guys,
player.
absolutely.
Are you doing a final poll for a captain or are we?
Nah. I think
Nah.
it's just whatever by the individual.
I think we pretty much nailed on the captain, didn't we?
Folk will
Everybody,
be fucking picking Larson.
everybody picked Maldini except.
Nah, it'd be
fucking-
Maldini. Eh?
I think
Aye, everybody
Maldini
picked
was
Maldini
good.
except me.
Except John. John,
Oh, John
had
picked
Puyol.
I picked
Puyol.
Puyol.
He would have been a great
The
shout.
two
if he was
guys aren't
the
in
team.
it, but so it wouldn't have been much of a vote.
Monty,
It's
but
not- it's not
we
a
are
bad team.
aware that Van Dijk wouldn't, but this is how the viewers voted. Out with their control, mate. Same way Larson making it ahead of CR7 and Henri. But there you
That's
go.
aye.
That's how it's done.
I think
That's what-
folk are
that's
folk are
how
taking the
voting's
piss
done.
with that, but
Aye.
it's
Only got any
fine.
votes.
Listen,
I mean, I get it. We all love
it's still a
Larson.
quality front
We all
too,
love
but
Larson.
when you're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, he's got to be Larson captain. Monty, fuck. No, listen,
Stephen Rigg.
it's a good team. It's a very good team.
Fantastic team. Bring it back up one last time.
Go for it.
it just looks amazing, doesn't it? It really does. Like
Nah,
Aye.
doesn't he? I'm not happy with
Zero
that.
balance in it. Zero balance in that.
I've not slept for a week picking a team, and that's just a fucking shambles.
That team will win a Champions League easy.
Aye. That midfield's too attacking. Like, need to score a lot.
How?
We'd need to score a lot.
Look at the four behind them.
They'd need to
Exactly.
They'd be needed. They four be needed.
It'd be fine, man. They'd fucking push that Champions League. Larson would win. Larson would come on and win a bit.
No, he starts
just like he done. Just like he done.
Again, like I said, guys, I know that there's a lot of players we haven't picked that are, like I said, they're no in their sort of our generation, so to speak.
Our lifetime.
But I mean, even if we had the like say Pele and all that, and Larson would probably still get in, so it makes no difference.
Aye, great shouts, mate.
By the way, Kluivert is another shout. Lewandowski is an absolute.
I've never known a Celtic podcast to be so deflated that Larson's in a team.
Because it's not a Celtic. It's not a Celtic team, you fucking donut. It's a world.
He's in any.
So
any
do you not think that any Celtic player deserves to be in the World 11? Is it just meant to be other players? No,
I don't.
In my lifetime, no.
No, in my lifetime, no.
No, in your lifetime, no. If you go overall all time, you've got shouts, aye.
But aye, no. Listen. Apologise for how long it's went on. It's a good team. I've enjoyed doing it. It was something a bit different. Just as a wee filler, eases back in. I say a wee filler, a fucking big filler, but it's eased the boys back in. It did sort of, dare I say it, died a death a wee bit towards the end there, but we stuck with it, seen it out, we got the team done, and I'll just hand over to you, Stephen, to do all the pleasantries before we sign off.
But just before we go, I want to say to the people who are watching, we'll be on the Boise bus this Saturday coming for the Question of Sports special. It's our away leg, so we'll be invading them. Phil McGinley's been in the comments tonight. Check out his show tomorrow, Euro 2000 Bustalgia. It's brilliant. As Ross said, check out the previous shows. They're cracking. 94, 96, all them competitions is great. But again, everyone who's watching, stayed with us this long. This fantastic special that Ross and John with the graphics and stuff done a cracking job with. We appreciate it. Stay well. Keep safe. Hail, hail.